Six Screens Telenetwork, earning the reputation of giving all the right ingredients, uninhibited, in exposing the hard, cold facts about the Watchtower Society.
Well, hello, everyone, and thank you for wanting to come in and be with us on a Saturday night. And we really appreciate your presence. We really do. Well, my name's Rick Barron. I'm here at the control panel of the Six Screens, along with my wife, Susan. And hello, Susan.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming in.
Well, we do this every Saturday night. And friends, this is where we've been doing this for 20 years. And this is where ex-Jehovah's Witnesses come to talk. And we've never missed a week in 20 years, friends. And because we are here, because you are here. You know, this is very important to a lot of people. There's a lot of people listening in right now. And, you know, they're not happy with what happened to them when they left the Watchtower. Many of them being shunned. Many of them are feeling very lonely tonight because they don't have any friends. Relatives and Jehovah's Witness friends and associates have disconnected from them. So they're listening in tonight. You are, that is. And don't you be too upset about everything. I mean, you're going to be hearing a lot of things tonight about what's going on behind the curtains of the Watchtower. And if you are an active Jehovah's Witness, by all means, don't run for the mountain. Stay with us. We're not a bunch of irate apostates. We're here to help you. We're not here to hurt you. So I just want to make a couple of comments before we get on with tonight's program. Moderators, I do believe that if Maverick's on there, Maverick, I did send you the information you needed to be a moderator. I believe you got it. I hope you did. I'm not sure, but I did go through that with YouTube this week. And also, is that you, Maverick? Okay, let's.
No, that's Nicole.
Nicole, I couldn't, for some reason, I could not send you the link. I put your name into the YouTube box, but it would not allow me to send it to you. Do you have a YouTube channel?
I do.
It would not come up.
I do.
It would not come up. I played around with it. And
You know what you could look for?
Well,
You have to look for Nicole's Bites.
I did not know that. I was looking at Nicole. Should I name the last name? I don't want to say.
That's right.
I won't say.
You're going to have to look for Nicole's Bites. Yeah, don't say the last name. That's okay.
All right, I won't say it. So, okay. So Nicole Bites, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. NICOLE''S and then DYTES.
Okay, that's why it wouldn't work. Okay, so you'll have it for next week. I can't do it now, but you'll have it. Okay, so Susan, write that down. Okay, all right. So we'll have Nicole, and I'm not sure Maverick's on with us, but if you are Maverick, that's good. I did send him it. It did come up on YouTube. All right, so we got the moderators behind us. Let's just talk a little bit about the hotline. Susan, my wife here, has a Six Screens hotline. Now, what the hotline is, you know, a lot of people don't want to come on here in real time in YouTube or Facebook, and you want to kind of keep it private. So anyways, you can call Susan on the hotline, and she'll give you the telephone number here very shortly. And if you have any thoughts about leaving the Watchtower, maybe you want to talk to her about something that is very important to you upon leaving, or thought that you have. She was a bona fide Jehovah's Witness, pioneer, married to an elder for many years. She knows where the bones are buried. So by all means, talk to Susan, and that would make it very good for you to be able to at least connect with someone that can talk the talk and walk the walk. So Susan, tell us about the hotline.
Well, the hotline, it's there because sometimes you forget you're awesome. So this is your reminder. And that's what I want to do, is remind you that you're not a loser, you're awesome. And the number to do that, if you would like, is 978-954-1415. And we'd just like to have a little conversation and see if you and I together can find out what you could do to maybe help your way out of the Watchtower to be a little easier with more, because Rick and I, we had no one. Rick and I, we had no one at all. So we'd like to help you, Rick and I. And I am not a professional therapist, so don't think that's what you're getting. But I am a professional Jehovah's Witness. So please, if you need to talk to someone, I'll be there for you.
All right, Susan, that's good. Now, also, when you're talking, you must look right at that white dot over there. Yep. Okay,
White dot?
that's the camera. Yep.
Okay.
All right, so just still working with Susan here. She wants to help me. She's been with me many years ago on 6 screens, and then she's been just on our radio network. But we got her back with me, and that makes it so much easier for me too, having Susan here with me. 2 people doing the podcast like this is a lot easier than just one. So it's working out good. So what I wanted to mention here, Susan and I talked about this, and I think it's important. So I'll just briefly discuss it with you for a couple of minutes here. Well, what we have here, this is where ex-Jehovah's Witnesses come to talk, and thousands of them have come through the 6 screens talking about their trek in the Watchtower and commenting on various issues that are brought up here. But what happens, friends? Many of us use fictitious names, and I can understand why you would. You don't want people to know who you are, especially Jehovah's Witnesses, right? So what happens is many people in the last 20 years that have been on this program are missing in action. And, we don't have any information. I don't have any information. And whether they're even still alive, I don't even know. But we would like to be able to keep track of some of the people that called in. So we're trying to set up some type of a database. Now, I don't know how it can be done. Maybe somebody out there has a suggestion, but I'm just thinking if you want to come on and share some thoughts with Susan on her hotline that she just gave you, we can create some type of a database. I don't want to do it here on a live program, but if you would send information on who you might be, you don't have to give your real name, but you could give at least a contact number. We won't give it out to anybody. Don't worry
No,
about
it's
that.
all private.
Right, private. So you can send at least a contact number, because right now I've got 4 people that are missing in action that I've been trying to contact, trying to get a hold of, and it's been very, very difficult to do that. So if you would like to call Susan, and we'll start some type of a database. If someone has a good idea how to do it, I'm open for suggestions. Write me at jwworldnews@gmail.com, and we'll be able to at least get something going here so we can keep track of people, because there's 4 people right now that I would love to know what happened to them. They're missing in action. So just a thought. I just got to check my battery here. Okay, let me just see why that's not on. Give me a second here, friends. I just have to check and see why we're not having a battery on here. Okay. Well, anyways, what I'm going to do, Susan, is I'm going to have you kind of talk for just a little bit.
Okay.
Well, I find out why this battery's not on. We're starting to lose some steam here. So let me get that straightened away. I'll sit right here and talk to the audience, Susan. Yeah.
Yeah, we were thinking about the database, not because we want to know all your deep secrets, but we really get worried about you when we haven't heard you for a while. And we look at Ken. He spent months trying to get a hold of Jay, and Rick and I just don't have the time to do that for the people that we're looking for. And we're not looking for any monetary reason. We're just looking because we want to know what happened to you. We care. We do. We care a lot. So please, if you think you know where, what is the guy that with the convention, the stock guy.
Oh, Jim Hill.
Yeah, Jim Hill is one that Rick would really like to get a hold of. Just, I just couldn't remember his name offhand. But Jim Hill. Anyone else?
Johnny the Bethelite.
Johnny the Bethelite. I know a lot of you don't even believe he existed, but he did. So there's just certain people that...
Wes the Professor.
Oh, Wes the Professor. He was going to his wedding, and he was going to come here and visit with us for a few days after his wedding. He never showed up, and we've called and can't get a hold of him, can't find him. Don't know where he is. He gave us a number, but they're not at that number. That number is disconnected. We don't like it when we hear numbers have been disconnected. Doesn't have a good ring to it.
All right, I'll come back on. Yep.
Okay.
All right, friends, sorry for the delay there, but my battery was running out on our computer here. For some reason, I forgot to hook it up. And there's a lot of technical stuff that goes on here. It's got to be done. But let me just get this plugged in so that we won't lose any power here, because if we lose some power, then we get some issues. But anyways, it's an interesting thought we did bring up concerning that database. So if anyone has any ideas how we can do that, it'd be good for the whole Jehovah's Witness community as a whole, because what would happen here is, I'm sure many friends out there have been in communication through Facebook and YouTube channels and talking to people that have disappeared off the radar screen. And we don't know who they are. They're using fictitious names. So come up with some ideas for our Senator J.W. World News, and we'll be able to at least come up with some ideas on how we can put this database together. It's going to take some time. It's not going to happen overnight. But let's try to put a database together. I think that would be very, very good. Hey, I just want to mention something too. We got some really good things we're going to be talking about tonight here on JW World News. I got some beautiful pictures that's coming up around 40 minutes from now. We're going to have two people coming on that been to the conventions. Norman LaRoe up here in Boston, Massachusetts. Sit right back here, Susan. Look into the camera. Yeah. And Norman LaRoe is coming on. He's from Lowell. He attended the convention in Lowell, Massachusetts today, and he's going to talk about. He sent me pictures. Wait till you see the pictures. You are not going to believe it. And also, we got coming in from Long Beach, California. We got JP, and he's going to tell us what he saw at the convention. That's coming up in about 40 minutes. So by all means, stay with us. I wanted to mention something too. That first of all, Reddit. Do you guys get on Reddit? Well, it's very popular. It's got a lot of people. It's a forum online. And Reddit, as you know, they cover everything. Everyone has a topic that they discuss, but there's one in there, ex-Jehovah's Witness topics. So there's a whole lot of people, over 100,000 people that write in, make comments about their trek in the Watchtower. Now, let me tell you, it's good and it's bad. Now, the people on Reddit, they're not really a fan of the 6 screens. And I can give you my reasons for it, but that's not even important at this point. But I wanted to say that I wanted to thank the people that do get in Reddit, make a good comment about the 6 screens. And so anyways, it came up. I see it on there every once in a while. They bring the 6 screens up on Reddit. So, a lot of people think this is like, they say I'm like the Alex Jones guy of the ex-witness world. And the reason why they say it is because we allow everyone to talk. I've never stopped anyone from saying anything unless they get real vulgar. But, we allow everyone to talk on the 6 screens. And what it is, some of these people get into subjects that get really deep. And of course, sometimes I don't agree with all the people, but I get, because it's our program here, I get the hammer coming down on me, but that's okay. I'm not going to stop allowing everyone to talk. This is where ex-Jehovah's Witnesses come to talk, and I want to hear everything about the Watchtower. I'm trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together. I'm still picking up crumbs on the trail. I want to know everything. I want to know why this organization, how it even continues to exist. But anyways, I just want to mention Reddit. Thank the people who do comment in a good way. Now, there's a lot of people comment in a bad way, but I'm going to tell you something about Reddit. And I use it a lot for getting news here in the 6 screens, and I like to see what they're writing about in there. But I'm going to tell you something that, you got to really be careful. Now, if I was a Jehovah's Witness and I was heading to the exit door of the Kingdom Hall, and I got on Reddit and I see statements like F Jehovah, F this, F that, swearing, all kinds of posts on there that inappropriate, and the moderators should be ashamed. They really should be ashamed of themselves to allow that. Because what these forums, I mean, when I started the Six Screens, when JW Facts started JW Facts, when all the people started their YouTube channels exposing the witnesses, it was trying to get people out. I mean, that's what my mission is. What Susan and I here do is we're trying to get you out of the Watchtower if you're still in. We're trying to help you. But if a person gets on Reddit and they see the posts that are in there, sexual innuendo, vulgar language, it's going to drive it's going to drive the Jehovah's Witnesses right away, and they're going to stay in the organization because they're going to say, "What a bunch of I don't want to resort to that." So I'm just saying it. Now I'm not saying all posts are bad in there. I use it myself, but it really is disgusting lately. And if you are a moderator on the Reddit platform, please understand it's really causing problems for Jehovah's Witnesses. I wouldn't do it. If I was leaving the Jehovah's Witnesses and I got on a site that's just F Jehovah, that's it for me. I'd walk right out of there. So that's my thoughts on it. But those who post good things about the Six Screens on there, thank you for doing it. All right. I'm going to talk about another thing here tonight. I'm going to talk about the Kingdom Hall that was firebombed in Queens, New York. Did you hear about this? Now, I'm not trying to make more of a story out of this than there is, but there was a Kingdom Hall just 2 days ago that was firebombed in New York, in Queens. A bunch of hoodlums in a car drove by not only the Kingdom Hall, but also a Baptist church, and they threw a Molotov cocktail at the Kingdom Hall and at the Baptist church. So these clowns were stopped, and I'm glad they were, because really it's not a good thing to do that. It's just dangerous, and it's a crime. So what I'm thinking, the Watchtower loves to hear about this. Now, I wasn't even going to bring this story up because I didn't think it had any real traction. But the more I looked into it, I see that it did have traction. It had traction because what the Jehovah's Witnesses are going to do, and they're doing a lot of this lately, is really scaring the loyal Jehovah's Witnesses to death. See, they're going to really use the persecution complex, and they're going to use it to the max. They are going to really put every Jehovah's Witness listening into their broadcast fear. You get on jw.org, and they're going to use that in their little news briefs, and they're going to talk about the Kingdom Hall being bombed and how, people are against Jehovah and they're persecuting us. You know how they're going to do it. So they have on jw.org. I don't know if you get in there or not, but I do because I have to do it, doing the news here. But on jw.org, they do have a news brief on their webpage. It's called Watching the World. And you're going to hear on there that, well, I'm not going to write for them because they're capable of doing a good job at it. But they're going to say something along the lines of, Armageddon certainly is now closer than ever. But we're being protected by Jehovah. Oh, that Molotov cocktail. What if we had a meeting and went through the window? But they're going to say something like that. But they'll doctor it up a little bit. And what they're going to do is they're going to tell you how things are really changing in the organization, how the tribulation is getting closer. They might even soon say that the Jehovah's Witnesses are already in the tribulation. So anyways, I wanted to bring that up tonight. But, I wanted to say this as well. There's been lots of attacks, and we've reported them here on the Six Screens. There's been lots of attacks on Jehovah's Witness Kingdom Halls. Now, this is not the first time that you heard of this, but it's been an ongoing event. There's been lots of attacks, people being shot in service. Oh, do I have proof of that? Well, just go back to Illinois about 3 years ago. Remember the man that was out in service? He was sitting in the car, and there was some witnesses. They used to sit in the car in a car group, and someone came up and shot him and killed him right in the car during service. And how about the Kingdom Hall that was bombed in India? And I believe it was 10 people killed. I'm not sure on that, but I believe it was 10. And how about that Australia bombing a number of years ago? There was 12 people. Then Germany as well, the Kingdom Hall, Susan, you're right. And how about the pipe bomber, the guy out in Colorado, a witness who was in good standing going to the Kingdom Hall. He had an argument with his wife. And so he said, well, I'll take her to the meeting today, honey. So she got out of the car, walked into the meeting. As soon as she walked in the building, he threw a pipe bomb through the window. We reported on that right here in 6 screens. And the thing is, the bomb didn't go off. Good for that. But anyways, I'm going to tell you right now, it's dangerous. And I'm not over embellishing. I know people are going to say, come on, Rick, knock it off. But I'm telling you, it's becoming very dangerous to be one of Jehovah's Witnesses.
May I mention too that the witnesses are doing it to themselves. Listen to all on Anne Marie's show, all the things that they said and did during funerals. They just aggravated family members at a very volatile time in their life. So that's lighting the fire right there of a stick of dynamite because of their badly learned behavior and how they speak poorly of people that don't deserve it. They may not be Jehovah's Witnesses, but that doesn't mean they're the evil slave either.
Well, good girl. So you're right with that. And I have to tell you, if you become one of Jehovah's Witnesses, you might as well send me an invitation to your memorial talk. Now, I know that sounds a little exaggerated, right? But I'm telling you, it's not that far exaggerated. Really. And then the Watchtower should be addressing this issue. And they're going to do it. They're going to tell you how they were bombed and how they're persecuted. But clearly, they should be making precautions for this because other churches are doing it. There's a number of churches being firebombed and people getting shot up. And there's an attack on churches in America.
I have not been around for 10 years. I asked the audience, have you heard in the Watchtower or Awake or any meeting at the Kingdom Hall anything regarding funerals? Just the general subject of funerals? No. So how can they expect for the witnesses to act with any kind of courtesy when they've never gotten any information on it and doesn't look like they're going to?
Well, they're going to say it's persecution, Susan. But anyways, I wanted to bring this up tonight because what happens is Jehovah's Witnesses spend a lot of time in Kingdom Halls, and you want to look at. I'm not saying that your Kingdom Hall is going to be firebombed tomorrow, but I've reported here in the 20 years of doing this program, I would say at least 15, 16 Kingdom Halls that have been firebombed. And for whatever reason, now this one in New York that we just talked about, I don't believe these people were apostates and they're angry. It's just some real extremists that are not happy with churches. So it had nothing to do with an irate apostate. But in the past, because the Watchtower has ticked off so many people by shunning them, family members being shunned, their whole family won't talk to them, that they retaliate. Now, never would I encourage anybody to do that. So, I'm thinking here, what exactly is the danger that's coming to Jehovah's Witnesses? Well, we just talked about physical danger. There's a lot of physical danger that could come to you by being one of Jehovah's Witnesses. And just think of it. Can you imagine being a young woman pioneer and you're out with another young woman pioneer knocking on doors and you don't even know who's behind those doors? That is a dangerous business. Why do you think Avon doesn't go door to door anymore? I mean, that's one of the reasons. In the internet, of course, is another reason they can do business online. But a lot of companies have given up going door to door because nobody today likes an uninvited guest. Now think about that. Think about it. Years ago, the bread man used to come to your house, the fuller brush man. Oh, we had the Avon lady, the Jehovah's Witnesses. All these people, insurance men used to come to your house to collect the premium payment. So that's all gone. Because the thing is today, if someone knocks on your door, it startles you. It really does. I mean, that's how paranoid to some degree we have all become. At least here where I live, maybe where you live, it's different. But if you're sitting there watching TV or reading a book and someone starts pounding on your door, whoa, who is that? The first thing you think is someone trying to break into your house. So, people are being shot for that. Because remember now, when you're one of Jehovah's Witnesses and you go knocking on doors all over the neighborhood, friend, you are an uninvited guest. And people, they don't like that. You're going to spook some people out. I'm just bringing this up. I know it sounds like, Rick, that's over the top. It's not too much today. It's not too much. But, there's another danger. So, okay, so fine. Put that one, as they would say, on the back burner. That's the physical danger. Well, let's talk about, there's another danger. How about the danger of mental anguish or emotional difficulties you can experience because of being a witness? Now, one thing right off the bat I thought of, and this is a terrible thing, but I'm gonna tell it here tonight. The Jehovah's Witness organization, i.e., Watchtower, they instill hate. And they make it feel right to hate. Now, what type of that's a hate group. Do you want to belong to a hate group? I mean, they instill hate. And they say, hate what Jehovah hates. And they tell you what that is. Jehovah, they say, hates of apostates. And if the law of the land allowed it, the Jehovah's Witnesses would kill you. Now, that's a nice thing for Christian religion to come forward with. But that's a fact. The Jehovah's Witnesses instill hate. Now, other anguish that can come upon people mentally for being one of Jehovah's Witnesses, friends, when you become one of Jehovah's Witnesses, they rob a person of their life. Now, that's a pretty hefty statement. Now, Susan, I'm just going to throw this on the table to you. How is it that you could say a Jehovah's Witness or the Watchtower organization robs a person of their life? Just think of one or two little events.
Okay, well, just think of going to the meetings. The meetings take anywhere from an hour to 2 hours to 3 hours. Now, if you have the meeting at your home, when you used to have it they did that, the book study, you had to have your home prepared every week for a minimum of maybe 10 to 20 people studying a particular book. Then then they had the Thursday night meeting, and that was 2 hours for the meeting, and then however long it took you to prepare to go to the meeting. There's just always these hidden little points of time that you had to use up, that you could have used for reading a book or watching a TV show or just relaxing. And there's nothing wrong with relaxing. But the Watchtower makes you think there is something wrong with relaxing. You should be working and doing something every moment of the day. If not, you're lazy. That's the viewpoint I got anyway.
Well, it's a good viewpoint. And so I'm going to mark that down, is that they demand so much of your time, it really amounts to taking your life away. You have no life being one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and they will continue to consume your time all the time, like Susan says, meetings, service. And another thing that Jehovah's Witnesses do that makes it dangerous mentally, we talked about physically, but mentally, the drain that's put on you, I mean, it instills fear. Do you want to belong to an organization that instills fear? I mean, seriously, the fear of Armageddon, where you can die. You can actually die, according to Watchtower, if you haven't done enough. Does someone want to speak up? Go ahead. You're on with us.
Yeah, Rick, just a quick thought. As you just mentioned, that when you have the fear of Armageddon, and you have the fear that it's going to happen almost instantaneously, if you think it's going to happen a week from now, that's a long range for you. So when you're thinking that Armageddon is going to come, it's going to be so traumatic that if the days weren't cut short, no flesh would survive. When you have that on your mind, the only thing that you're thinking about is going out in service and warning people, because that's what they believe Jehovah wants you to do. Go out and warn people. And you know what? It's always on your mind. It's all you're thinking about. You're not thinking about your mother, or you're not thinking about people that you love. You're just thinking about finding Jehovah's sheep and getting them into the Kingdom Hall. That's the number one thought in your life. You realize you have to do things at your secular employment, and you have to do certain things in your neighborhood. But the number one thought in your mind completely is being out in field service. And you can't get anything done. You make no plans. It's a horrible organization. And that's all you think about is serving Jehovah, which really means serving the governing body. Thank you, Rick.
Well, Dick, that's a great thought. Yeah, the Watchtower will put a lot of pressure on you. Well, let's go to 310. Area code 310. Go ahead. You're on with us.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that they did put a lot of stress on you as far as field service and meetings and so forth. And with myself and a few young brothers, what we used to do, we used to go to a fast food restaurant on Saturdays, and we used to go to sleep instead of doing the street witnessing. We used to get in the car and just go to sleep. There was so much. You had to get 10.5 hours. You had to go to work. You had to clean your house. You had to clean the yard. You had to go to all these meetings, get all this preparation. It was just so much every day, all day. And you never had any time to yourself. So we used to go to sleep, and then we would go out in field service. We would play like we did a block and pretend like we knocked on doors, write down a few addresses and say, these are the not at homes we got. And then we would go home because it was just too much. And then you had to turn around the next day, either go out in field service and then to the meeting, or to the meeting, then back out in field service. And that's your whole weekend. So you did nothing for yourself. All you did was knock on doors and go to a meeting the whole weekend. So what kind of weekend is that? Then turn around Monday morning, you're back at work. So what kind of meeting is that? I mean, what kind of life is that?
Yeah, well, it's not a life. I'll tell you that. It's not a normal life. But when we were witnesses, I don't think even when we were witnesses, we thought it was normal. But we said, we're willing to do this for Jehovah. We're willing to do it for Jehovah. Well, thank you. Thank you for bringing that up tonight. We really appreciate it. And also what the witnesses do is another thing that kind of is like a hate crime, really. They teach people to fear everything that's not in the congregation, that's not included in the Watchtower menu. In other words, everything's bad. Everything's bad, but the Watchtower is good. Everything outside the organization, they say, is controlled by Satan and the devil. How can you live a life walking around in the real world, going to work, doing things that you would like to do, and you're constantly being told that the whole world that you're in is run by Satan and the devil? How comforting is that? That is just too much. And the other thing too, I mean, we could go on and on and on. They isolate you, and they don't want you to associate with family members that are not Jehovah's Witnesses. They want you to limit your contact with people at work. They don't want you to really contact people except Jehovah's Witnesses. That they cut you off from a normal life. So that's why I'm saying it's dangerous. And we mentioned, first of all, physically dangerous today, being one of Jehovah's Witnesses. But now you add on the mental dangers, And, you know, like I say, you want to become a Jehovah's Witness, give me an invitation to your memorial talk, because I mean, that could happen. So anyways, who else wants to speak up? Is that you, Seth, out there yeah,
Hey, Brother Rick,
yes, go ahead.
it's Dean.
Oh, it's
Hi,
Dean.
Susan.
Hi, Dean. Hi.
Are you up? You're looking lovely, Susan. Always good to see you nowadays.
Well, you're too kind, Dean. Thank you.
Hey, who was that brother who spoke previously?
Well, that was the Honorable Dick Borgie.
No, the one that just spoke prior to me.
Oh, that was, well, I don't know if he wants me to give his name, but
Okay.
I'll just say, well, I won't give his name because I'm not sure. It's not good to
No,
do that.
no, that's okay. But I just want to kind of piggyback to what he said. I mean, basically, he says what I learned. I mean, being a Jehovah's Witness is just pure drudgery, isn't it? I mean, my gosh, I can't think of a worse cult that could just have as much drudgery as the dang Jehovah's Witnesses. It's just, it boggles the mind, doesn't it?
Well, when you, Dean, give me the definition of a boggled mind. Go ahead.
It just confuses the mind. It bewilders you.
Well, it can drive you mental. You can get mental illness because you have a boggled mind.
Exactly. And then, you know me, I got to add some satire every once in a while. But, hello?
You're here, yeah?
Yeah. You know me, I got to add satire every once in a while, right, Rich?
Sure.
Hey, you remember years ago when the first time Trump was elected, and then Madonna came on with her pink little pussy hats?
Yeah.
And then she said, lately, I've been feeling like blowing up the White House. Again, this is satire.
Yeah.
And I satirically say, lately, I've been feeling like fucking blowing up a Kingdom Hall.
Well,
just satire.
well, that's okay, but you wouldn't want to do that. But there are people that do.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just making satire, Brother Rick. Love you guys.
All right, Dean, we love you too, buddy. Keep cranking now. Don't you ever give in, up or out. You're a good man. All right. So I wanted to talk about how your personal life is really monitored from the cradle to the grave. It's incredible how much they want to take your life over. I mean, even when it comes to what type of entertainment you want to watch. Gee, I want to watch a movie. Well, it's X-rated. Or I like to read a book. Don't read that book. And how about even in your bedroom? We talked about that so many times. The bedroom laws. I mean, they want to reach into your personal life in an incredibly inappropriate manner. That's what they do. And they want to control you from the cradle to the grave. Well, I want to bring that up tonight. Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
Can I have one more thing, Rick?
Sure.
This is case in point. Like, being a small kid, I remember my doggone stepfather, like, it'd just be drudgery, using that word again, right? To go out in field service on a Saturday, you know, all your school friends are home, and they're really making comedy of you. Yeah, look at Dean. He's walking around with a shirt and tie on a hot sunny day, Saturday morning, right? But here's the thing. I would watch cartoons before we'd have to go, right? And I really wouldn't want to go. And I know this for a fact. My stepfather, he took great delight in being able to turn off my Scooby-Doo cartoon in the morning to pile me in the car for forced witnessing. It's just ridiculous.
Well, you're not the only one that's saying that, Dean. It is ridiculous.
But,
yeah.
Yeah, he took good pleasure in being able to turn off that TV when I was like right in the middle of an episode. It's just, yeah.
Well, thank you, Dean.
Hey, Rick.
Yes.
This is Seth from Missouri. I got to get off of here shortly, But I had some big news that I kind of teased a little bit in the comments that maybe I could share. Is that all right?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. So this past week, I had the privilege of speaking to two governors, one Republican, one Democrat governor, both of the state of Missouri. So one's a former governor. They're actually both former governors. Then I talked to the former Attorney General of the United States, which actually has some information. So I'll share that here in a little bit about Jehovah's Witnesses. I got to speak to one current United States representative and one nominee for the party of the Democratic Party for Congress. And I got to speak with two mayors, one former mayor, one current mayor of Convention City right here in the Ozarks. So I got to speak with all of them about Jehovah's Witnesses. And also the Attorney General of Missouri, Catherine Hanaway.
Oh,
I got to speak with several of these. They were all in one building, and I got them all together, and I got to talk with them all individually.
Well, good for you.
And I got some news that I don't want to get too much into right now because I don't want to, because Watchtower is listening in, to be honest, so I'm not going to share too much, but there are some big things possibly about to come down unless something big happens from the top down at Watchtower. And it does sound like Watchtower is beginning to shake. It has been shaking for a while. It's beginning to crumble. It's starting its downfall unless they make some big changes. And it sounds like they are preparing their congregants through the Watchtower and through some of these meetings for a big change. It was really exciting to be able to talk to these people. Some of them had insight about what was going on, especially the former Attorney General, who still, of the United States. He served under President Bush, and he's also he has some information for that, which I don't want to get too heavily into, but I would like to call you sometime personally or email you sometime personally and talk with you about what we can share and what we can't share, because I'm sure that this is information that the community at large would love to hear. This is kind of new light from my perspective.
Oh, sounds good, Seth. So what to do is, I won't be able to do it tomorrow because I have a program tomorrow, but I would like to talk to you. So the first of the week, I do have your telephone number here. So I'll give you a call first of the week. What's a good time to call you?
Please give me a call. Just about any time. I'm on summer vacation. I'm a school bus driver, so
all right.
I'm on vacation right now. So call me anytime.
All right.
Absolutely. There's some big stuff coming down, and I think that you're going to love it.
All right. Good. Well, thank you. I'll get a hold of you, and then we can probably make arrangements. We'll talk about it and then make arrangements for you to come on next Saturday night and probably spill the beans.
Sounds great.
Good. Thank you, Seth. Good man. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello.
Yes.
Hey, Rick. Yes, Steph, I think he's on target. John Ledger said there's something really big coming down the road. So he wasn't sure what it was, but he says there's something big coming down the road. So I think your previous caller was probably right on target there.
Yeah, we'll get on next week and talk about it. All right, we had someone else wanting to come in there. Is that 432? Do you want to come in? 432?
Yeah, I believe that I think it's the Netherlands that is just considered that Jehovah's Witnesses are not a Christian religion, and it's coming down the pike. I mean, the witnesses like to quote the scripture that do not be misled. God is not one to be mocked, but you sow, you shall reap. That's true. I mean, if the witnesses were doing good things for families and doing good things for people across the world, then God would be with them and protecting them and helping them. But I'm sure everybody here understands that we would have just loved to have a better home life and a better relationship with our parents, not all the pressure and the contradictions that they showed us to provide an outward display of the perfect JW. I would have given all that outward display and that religiousness up for just a happy, loving home life. And of course, they affected their followers, with blood transfusions in the early days. They kicked people out, shunned them for beards. And now all of a sudden it's okay. So I mean, their beliefs affected families and communities in a negative way, and they're going to reap what they sow. It's just a natural law of things. You don't have to even be a Christian to believe that. It's called cause and effect.
Well, thank you, brother. Thank you for sharing that. Good thoughts. Really appreciate it. So Norman LaRoe, if you're out there, stay in. About 5-10 minutes from now, you'll be coming on. And also JP out of California, we're bringing you on as well, about 5 or 10 minutes. So hang in there with us. And I just wanted to kind of wrap this up with the dangerous position you put yourself in, being one of Jehovah's Witnesses. Now, we talked about the physical dangers. We talked about the mental anguish and dangers you can experience mentally. Now, I also want to let you be aware of the fact that a lot of people out there say, come on, Rick, that's too much. Well, I'm just going to give one thing that can present a death-dealing situation to every Jehovah's Witness, and there's many that are faced with it, is a blood transfusion. What are you going to do if you're in an accident or you bleed? You're going to die if you're one of Jehovah's Witnesses and you take them seriously. So, this idea of being a Jehovah's Witness is dangerous. It's not so.
Holy fuck,
holy fuck,
holy fuck,
Yeah.
holy fuck,
No,
fuck, 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 fuck.
please.
What was
The conference has been locked. Tower is listening. That right there means they are listening.
All right. So yeah, that's right,
right.
Nicole. That's Watchtower. They don't like us having a program like this. We do have the conference call locked right now to try to keep those drunken Bethelites out. And sorry for the vulgar language. These guys, they've done it in the past, and they constantly want to disrupt us. They're listening into the program, friends. And, there's people out there that are naysayers and say, no, they're not, Rick. Trust me when I tell you, the Watchtower listens to the 6 screens of the Watchtower conference calls.
Well, Rick.
Yeah.
This is Donald here from Texas.
Yeah.
One of the things I've been picking up on just recently is all this massive thing, this stuff about obedience. They are really, really ramping up being obedient to the governing body. That obedience thing seems to be a big thing right now. And I think from what I've been on different YouTube channels, there is something coming down the pike, and I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure what instructions the Watchtower is about to. That if you give instructions, better obey, or it can mean your life. I think there's something coming down the pike that they're just not saying. I have noticed they're really ramping up the obedience thing quite a bit.
Oh yeah, no, we're gonna talk about that later on tonight after we talk about the conventions. But I got the JW broadcasting for July. Wait till you hear some of the comments. I'm gonna play some clips from it. They are, Donald, you're right, ramping up obedience. We're gonna play that in just a little while. But also we have did someone else? Okay, Donald. I'm gonna mute you, Donald. Or you can mute yourself. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right, we're muting Donald. Okay. All right. All right. So anyways. Okay, let me just see what's going on here. We've got a lot of people coming in here tonight. Let me just check my phone lines. Give me a second, folks. What you want to do is you want to remain, if you're not speaking up, you want to remain unmuted. Did 432 want to say something again? No? You're unmuted.
Yeah, I'll say something. I was just saying this information age is actually a really blessing, because when you become informed and educated, then blind obedience goes out the window. And that's what they're dealing with. Is since computers came on, people can get information, they can see for themselves without fear of having a apostate book found in their house. I don't know if they have Gestapo police that are searching for witnesses that are looking into other information, but it's actually a blessing. And so the natural course of this is that people are going to wake up. And that's really what we want them to do. I remember sitting in a Kingdom Hall as a kid, and they said, if it has the ring of truth to it, then it's probably true. But if it doesn't have the ring of truth, well, but then they don't ever let you look into.
The conference has been unlocked.
If your truth is true, then it will stand up against anything. And unfortunately, their belief, their doctrines, and their example doesn't stand up to anything.
Well, good thoughts. Well, thank you, brother, for saying that. Anyways, I just want to check something here. Is Norman LaRoe on with us? Norman, if you are, hit *6. Is JP on with us? Hit *6. All right. For some reason, I'm not sure why that's happening, but we were going to bring them on. We're going to be talking about the convention.
Myself, do I hit *6 again?
Yes, you do. Yeah. In fact, I'm going to mention that, folks. Here's how it works here on the program. If you want to speak up, you hit *6. That unmutes you. And then when you're done speaking, hit *6 again. Thank you, brother, for suggesting that. Norman LaRoe, you on here with us? All right. I'm just going to call Norman here. Just give me a second. I'm going to call Norman, and maybe he couldn't come in because we had to lock up the call here for a second. So let me just call him here. Just give us a second. And we want to get Norman on with us. Just give us a second here, folks. We're just trying to get Norman on with us. All right.
Hello.
Hello, Norman. You coming on?
I'm coming on.
Okay, yeah, I just want to get you on because I had a lock to call. Some drunken Bethelites were coming in. So I had a lock to call up, so I wasn't sure you could get in. Okay.
Yeah.
Come on.
I was going to come in at 9 o'clock. But
Yeah, come on right in right now. What time is it now?
it's 9 o'clock.
Okay, come on in. Yep, because I'm going to lock the call up. Yep.
Actually, Rick, hold on. I need like 3 minutes, okay?
Okay, if for some reason, see what's happening here. Well,
Fuck. Rick, you still there?
yeah, I just had to lock the call up. We have some drunken Bethelites coming in, Norman. So why don't you go ahead, take care of what you have to do, and wait probably about 5 or 10 minutes or so. We might have to even do it a little later. Can you do it about? You want to do it in about a half hour?
I can't do that. I can come on like in about 5 minutes because I just got to help Sean get upstairs.
All right, go ahead. I do have it locked. When you call in right now, it's going to say it's locked. We're having it. We're being interrupted here tonight by Bethelites coming in.
Okay.
So if you can do it, go ahead and do it. I'll unlock it, and we'll get you in, and then I'll try to get because they'll come right in as soon as I unlock it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
All right, folks, we'll get things. People, they're listening in, so I'm trying to I got a couple of guests that want to come on, but we have a hard time because of being interrupted, and so consequently it creates issues for people. I have guests coming on and people wanting to call in, so they're getting a conference call locked when they do dial in.
And
So-
these guests are they are really digging into their lives. They're giving a special time that they need to do other things with. So we should really appreciate the time. They went to the assemblies today. They took pictures today. They had wonderful things to show us. So please understand.
Yeah, so it's but the thing is, folks, what we do here, and we're the only ones that do it. We leave the lines open for the most part, unless we really get bombarded by Watchtower operatives. But we give everyone a voice, but we don't give them a voice, especially when it's so vulgar. Hello. Is that you, Jerry? JP, is that you? Yeah, so that's probably JP out of California. Wanted to we'll get him in here, friends. We'll just give some time here and let it all look, here's what you have to do. You know, we give everyone a voice. Not everyone wants to do this. You know, we are the only ones that open the lines up like that. And we have a telephone line. No one else does that. Generally, what they all do, they use, they bring you on via video and they can see who's calling in. But we're the only ones in because we never know who's going to call into the 6 screens. So just bear with us here and we'll get right into it. I want to get into discussion about the conventions and we'll see if we can't. I'm going to try to unlock it again. Let's see what happens.
The conference has been unlocked.
All right, let's see what happens here. I know that we do have the operatives in here again tonight. It does make it a little more difficult doing a live broadcast like this. So if you hear these vulgar words, please.
Fuck.
Oh, they are so immature.
Yeah. They are.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Again, go ahead. Yep. Is that you, JP? Yeah. We got some.
Yeah, this is me.
Okay, just stay right there. Don't leave because they're going to have to lock it up. We got the drunken Beth the lights coming in again tonight. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Just trying to identify who they are. I got a lot of callers coming through here tonight.
Fuck my nigger ass. Fuck my nigger fucking ass. Fuck my nigger fucking ass. And my fucking nigger fucking ass. Fuck my nigger fucking ass. Fuck my nigger fucking ass. Fuck my nigger fucking nigger. Rick?
Yeah.
You're so silly. I mean,
Rick?
Yeah.
the conference has been locked.
You on there with us, Norman?
I'm here, Rick.
Okay, yeah, you probably heard them coming in. Sorry, friends, again, but I had to open the lines up to let some of our guests in. But we do have JP online with us. We now do have it locked. It's very difficult, when you're looking at, upwards of sometimes 50, 60 phone numbers, and you're trying to pick which ones and who's saying what. It makes it very, very difficult to find and hit the right person without knocking another person out. So I don't think we knocked anybody else out. It's like firing a missile. You gotta hit the right number. So I do believe we got them out. So Norman's on with us. We also have JP out of California. Did you want to say something, Dick?
Yeah, those people that use the F-bomb.
Yeah.
Talk about mentally diseased people. There you go.
Yeah, it's kind of disruptive. I hate it when they do that, but fortunately we have all adults listening, and I think they understand it. It's something that it's hard to really combat when you allow this. But we were doing it for many years, and they come in from time to time. But tonight, I think they were very upset about what Seth was saying from Missouri. That ticked them off. Usually they're very calm. But when Seth started talking about something big coming down, I think that kind of spooked them, So they had to come in. All right, so let's now switch some gears here. Let's go to the convention. We do have the people on that I was looking for. We have them on. Let me slip down here and talk about the convention. So just give us a second. Okay, so the 2026 Global Conventions of Jehovah's Witnesses. They started, they actually started first of the year, but the Jehovah's Witnesses are planning on over 13 million people across approximately 600 conventions. Now that's quite impressive, right? So they're actually expecting 13 million people, and they're going to have 6,000 conventions. These are 3-day events globally, and this includes 19 international conventions held in 17 countries. Now, so far, the information coming into the 6 screens, and we try to keep pretty much on top of the convention attendance and what's going on. And we'll continue to do that all summer, and thank all those people that are sending me pictures. Now, I do want to show you a picture in Portugal. Let me just come over here and see if we can't get that up for you. So I'm going to show you a picture in Portugal that I found very fascinating. Let me get to the right picture here. All right, there it is right there. Now, I don't know if you can see it good or not, but it's in the center of the stage. You can see all the empty seats. You can see a woman's foot. Now look to the top of the woman's foot. Now this is an international convention in Portugal, Porto, Portugal, and it's empty. So that was just sent to me. Thank you very much for whoever sent that picture to me. I really appreciate it. TGA, I think it was. So that's an international convention, folks. Now I'm gonna show you something. Just to kind of, I don't want you to think I'm looking through rose-colored glasses here. I'm trying to overemphasize the fact that Jehovah's Witnesses have got many empty seats. But let me show you something here, and I just to show some comparisons here. Take a look at this right here. Now I went to Yankee Stadium a couple of years. Well, actually, it was about 5 years ago now. But there was a plaque there, and I remember reading the plaque. And that's a plaque that they have in Yankee Stadium in New York City. And what that plaque says, it's the largest attendance ever at Yankee Stadium in 1958. They had, it was 123,700 people that attended the convention on that one particular day, August 3rd. So that is the most attendance ever at Yankee Stadium on August 3rd, 1958. So, I mean, that is impressive, right? Now, that's impressive. But then when I show you the picture here in Portugal at an international convention, look at this. This is a stark difference. And it's not just there. Poland, also, you're looking at empty seats. You're looking at empty seats in right now in Sweden. They're holding an international convention. So it's not just there in Portugal. How about in the States? What do we get going on in the States? I'm going to call, well, first of all, let's bring Norman LaRoe on from Lowell, Massachusetts. Hello, Norman.
Hello, Rick. How are you tonight?
I'm doing good today, Norman. Thank you for wanting to be on here with us tonight. And can you tell us about the convention you went to today? I'll put some pictures up.
Yeah, I went to the convention. It's held in Lowell, Massachusetts at the Saugus Center, which is a big, it's like an ice rink, big professional stadium. I'm not sure how many thousands it holds, but it holds quite a few. I went there, I got dressed up in my jacket and tie because I wanted to look like everybody else. When I parked in the parking garage, and you have to walk a short ways over to the convention center. And every time I've gone to the convention, there's always an elder or someone standing in between the parking garage and the stadium and the Saugus Center. I don't know why, they're just standing there. And so I tried to walk quietly by him because I didn't want to get noticed at all. And so I was able to sneak in behind him. And then I'm looking at the Saugus Center, and they've got this huge frontal area with long steps. And at the top of the steps was probably about 4 or 5 elders up there. But I wanted to try to avoid the elders because when did we do the convention together last? Was it 2 years ago or 3 years ago?
3 years ago.
Okay. So when I had gone to the convention 3 years ago with Rick had his table set up right at the front of the convention, like a little bit down the street. And I was inside. And when I was leaving the convention, I got the 3rd degree, and I had a police officer interrogating me as to who I was and what I was doing. So I wanted to avoid that. I wanted to sneak in nice and quiet. So as I approached the Saugus Center, on the right-hand side, there was another entrance there, and there was just one person who was putting it through a metal detector, and then there was one other elder standing there, and one young guy holding the door. And so I had a nice little conversation with them and walked right in. And when you walk right inside there, I mean, you're walking right onto the floor. I wasn't prepared for that, but I walked right onto the floor. And I took the first staircase I could to go up to the top as fast as I could. And I went to the top, and nobody bothered me. Nobody said hi. No one looked at me, which was fine with me. I didn't want to get recognized by anybody. And when I was at the top, I had a nice big view of everything and everybody looking around. And I thought there was a fairly decent crowd. You know, I was expecting a lot less, but I thought there was a fairly decent crowd until I came home. And the pictures that I had taken, I put them against the 2019 convention that I was at, and I saw a really big difference.
Well, I'm gonna put one of those pictures up right now. I'm gonna put up right now.
Okay.
So let's take a look at this. All right. So on the top is 2019. On the bottom is 2026.
Yes. If you notice, look at the floor. The floor doesn't have a lot. They're missing a lot of seats. There's a lot of big empty floor between 2019 and 2026. Also, later on, you might see in another picture, there in 2026, there's a lot of empty seats.
Yeah,
especially right in the front.
Let's do that right now. Let me get the right picture here. Is this the one here? Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. Boy.
Now also, yep.
Good picture.
If you notice that,
yeah, look.
Yeah,
This is the best one right there.
Yep, you can see the floor. Also, if you look to the left-hand side on the floor, if you go back again one more, Rick.
Go back, okay.
Yeah, go back one.
That one?
No, you're still on the other one. If you could go back to, oh, there we go. Yep, this one here. If you look at on the floor on the left-hand side between the seats and where the boards are, where like if you think of the hockey game where the boards are, there's a lot more space. We tried to count the rows, and we tried to count the seats. And in 2019, we counted as approximately 39 seats wide. And in 2026, it's 32 seats wide.
Wow.
And as far as rows are concerned, there are more. We had a hard time counting rows, but there are more rows in 2019 than there were 2026. Now, Sharon, my wife, she took those two pictures and she put them through AI. And she asked AI to count about how many people there were. And now, again, take it with a grain of salt. This is AI. But in 2019, AI counted 850 people. And in 2026, it counted 340.
Wow.
So we saw a big difference on the floor. There was, again, a big area. Like, again, if you look in the back, you'll see that's a big area. And then, Rick, if you go to the next picture.
Okay, let me do the next one. This one here. Hold on. Let me get it up. Come on, get on there.
Yep. Again, if you
wrong one.
Keep going. Yep, that's the one. Yep, right there.
Okay.
Again, if you look at the crowd on the floor, on the left hand side, you'll see that the aisle is a lot wider. So again, they not only have they shortened it with that extra floor, but also they've narrowed it down in the center.
Well, no, that's noticeable. I'm glad you brought that up. That's profoundly noticeable. So, by doing that, it still gives the appearance, if no one's really noticing that aisle, that okay, there's just as many people, but there was no aisle back in 2019.
Yep. So, but also if you look at the amount, not only did they shorten the amount of chairs, but also if you look at the amount of bodies in the chairs in 2019, there's a lot more people than there are in 2026. Where you can walk right into the convention center where I did, I assume that on the floor is where more of the elderly and handicapped people are, because you can walk right in, there's no stairs, there's nothing to climb. And so I would assume by that there are a lot less older and elderly people there.
Well, that's more than an assumption. That's realistic. I would imagine. I would imagine you didn't see a whole lot of young ones, right? Maybe like little kids, so to speak. But did you see a lot of like 16, 17, 18-year-old kids there?
I saw a lot of 30 to 50-year-olds.
Yeah.
I saw very few young people. I saw even fewer children. There were very few children. But there were a lot of older people, a lot of people 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. I also noticed that there were beards and mustaches there. Again, unlike 2019 where they couldn't have them, there were quite a few beards and mustaches.
Wow.
Another thing I noticed too was I dressed up for the occasion. I put my jacket and tie on and everything. And when I went inside, a lot of the men didn't have jackets. Now, in Massachusetts, in Lowell, Massachusetts today, it wasn't very hot. I think it was a high of like 78 or 80. So it wasn't that wasn't in the 90s or anything where you have to take your jacket off right away. And there were a lot of men without their jackets on.
Wow, you noticed that, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. So, Rick, if you want to go to the next picture.
Okay, let's go next picture here. Now tell me if we got the right one. All right. That one, another one.
That one right there.
Okay.
Okay. This is really profound.
Oh, yes.
Because now, okay, so what I want to do is, if you look at the stage, okay, and behind the stage there's like a doorway. Do you see the doorway behind there?
Yes.
Okay. Look at, in the 2019, okay, there are people over the doorway. There are people to the left of the doorway and people to the right of the doorway.
Yes.
Okay? Look at the 2026. They blocked off that whole area.
Wow. Excuse me 1 second, Norman. Hold on. I'm going to grab this here. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello, this is Jonathan Tartaro. We were discussing reaching Rick Fearon. Are you Mr. Fearon?
Yeah, yes.
Hello, Mr. Fearon. I'm calling to discuss possible remission and reconciliation. Robert Tarenko would like to meet with you and discuss this over dinner. May I share your contact information with him?
Yeah, I think it's a joke. Yeah. Just hold on, folks. So what are you saying? Robert Tarenko, he's the president of the Watchtower. So he wants to meet with me. I mean, this sounds like a joke to me.
Robert Tarenko, not Tarenko. He's a brother from our congregation, and he genuinely wants to meet with you to discuss your return and reconciliation. It's not a joke, Mr. Fearon.
Well, I'm not returning. I have no desire to return.
I understand, Mr. Fearon. However, Robert Tarenko would like to have a conversation with you.
Sure.
Not necessary. May I ask what's led you to feel that way, Mr. Fearon?
What's made me feel this way about what?
About returning to the congregation.
Well, I'm not returning to the congregation. I'm not. I'm an apostate. I don't know.
Hi, Rick.
Yes.
Hi, Rick.
Yes.
Maverick here.
Yes.
That might be an AI, that's also responding to you, Rick.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to disconnect this
Could be
guy.
AI.
Yeah. We're going to okay, good. Thank you. You remember, we're going to let's.
Yeah, it sounds like it's an autoresponder. They're getting quite clever with it now, but
Oh, yeah.
no, you didn't get a cigar watchtower.
Well, it's interesting. I'm sorry, Norman. Let's go back. Yeah. Let's go back, Norman.
Okay. So again, if you look at over the doorway, there are people to the left and to the right of that doorway. There are people. This year they blocked it off. Okay. Now, not only on that side, but on my side too. If you look at the 2019 side, the bottom left-hand side, there are a few people there.
Yes.
And in 2026, all that side was all blocked off. So not only did they have fewer people on the floor, fewer chairs on the floor, but they blocked off 6 sections of people so that all those people, if they were there, they would have to have been moved over. Another thing I observed too is they did not have like one of those blow-up pools for baptism. In 2019, they were doing baptisms. In 2026, there was no baptismal area.
Huh, now that,
There were now, Rick, now, when did they do baptism? Did they do them on Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday.
Okay, so there was nothing set up at all. So apparently there were no baptisms taking place today.
Isn't that something, Norman? Yeah, now that's interesting. Unless they had it in the morning, they didn't mention anything about baptisms?
They mentioned nothing about baptisms at all. Because I had gone to the convention today at about 1:45. Because what I wanted to do is, I know that they went to lunch and they resumed at about 1:30, and I wanted to go in with other people. But actually there was no other people. They were already inside by the time I came there. So,
and generally, Norman, I mean, at the conventions I went to, they wouldn't dismantle the baptism pool until after the Saturday sessions. So the pool was always there. So, because they wouldn't do it. I mean, they have to empty all the water and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So that's interesting. So I'd be curious to know if anyone even got baptized, because that's another report that's coming into the stick screens. Very few baptisms at these conventions around the world, not like it used to be. I mean, just to give you an idea, I mean, let's roll the clocks back. When I was going to places like Veterans Stadium and Fenway Park and Yankee Stadium, well, for example, Yankee Stadium back in 1969, I believe there was close to 4,000 people baptized. Now, I wouldn't expect that at the Tsongas Center, but some of these international conventions they're having now, there's like 38 people baptized. You know, we used to talk in the thousands. You know, so it's a big drop off.
And there was nobody.
No,
there was nobody being baptized there this weekend.
Well,
to me, that speaks volumes. You know, they're losing members. Rick, do you want to go to the next slide?
Yeah, let me go to the next slide. So we got here. Let's take a look at it. Would it be this one right here? Hold on. Is it that one?
It hasn't come up yet. There we go. Yep. Again, if you look at the floor, you see a huge area where there's a lot of empty seats.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you see the baptismal in 2019. It's not there in 2026. If you look at the risers going up on the top, you see that in 2026 you see a lot more blue seats than you do in 2019.
Yes.
Not only are there fewer seats on the floor, a lot fewer people sitting on the floor. You see, they took out 6 segments in the Tsongas Center, and still there are more empty seats there now than there were in 2019. If I were to guess, I would say that there's at least 40% less people in 2026 than there are in 2019.
Wow.
That's just my guesstimate.
All right. Well, that could be a fact but what really is startling here, and those are pictures you took in 2019. The baptismal pool was there. Now you were there in the afternoon then too. See, so.
Actually, no. In 2019, I was there about 10:30, 11:15.
All right. Okay. So that's.
But still, they would not have taken the pool down right away.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting.
That's a lot of work to drain that pool and dismantle it. Yeah, especially where they're trying to get people to pay attention to the convention.
Yes.
But if they wouldn't be taking it down while people are trying to listen to the talk and watch everything, if they did take it down, it would probably have to be Saturday night when everyone was gone, right?
Well, that's what they used to do. Yeah. I mean, there was no pool at all, but now the other pool looks fairly big. I mean, I used to see those at conventions too. So we'll have to find out. We'll have the answer to that probably next week if there are any baptisms there, you know.
Norman, did Sharon go with you?
No, she did not.
Okay.
She couldn't go.
Has she seen your pictures?
Yeah, she did.
She was amazing. She worked with me the whole way. After I came home, I showed her all the pictures, and she helped me to download everything and to get everything into Photoshop, where I was able to put these comparisons together. She did a fantastic job, and
Yes, she did.
she deserves a lot of credit to help me out.
Yes.
Well, you tell her thank
Wow.
you tell Sharon thank you very much, Sharon. Appreciate it.
Really? And what does she think of all these pictures?
She couldn't believe the difference. She
Yeah.
was helping me to try to, count the rows and count the seats, and she said there's definitely a lot less seats.
Now, her relative, that's a Jehovah's Witness. What does she think that the relative might be thinking?
It's fine because we can't talk to them at all about it.
Yeah.
They won't talk to us at all. It has to be just on a very, very plain basis, because her sister is the one who's a Jehovah's Witness, along with her husband, and they have 3 kids, and all their 3 kids are married. All their kids are witnesses, grandchildren are witnesses, and one of my nieces and nephew, her sister's son and daughter-in-law, they are full-time witnesses, and I think they're in Armenia.
Wow.
Oh, those are the ones in Armenia. Okay.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, that's a fantastic job you did there, Norman. We really appreciate it. And it really is. We got a lot of people listening in right now live on our program. And when this gets uploaded, people are always interested in pitches, but you did a great job. And we really want to thank you. We really mean it, Norman.
Thank you. And one more thing, too.
Sure.
If you notice, in 2019, where the pool is, they carved out an area. They were pushing all the seats back where the pool is. If you look at 2026, the seats go straight across. They didn't carve out any area for the pool.
Well, there you go. Yeah. So no, well, that's another thought. So no pool. I mean, right off the bat, you think, well, no baptisms. But what they do sometimes is they would, put the baptismal candidates in a bus and take them to the YMCA or something,
What does YMCA stand for, Rick?
Well, yeah, young men's Christian. So, well, actually, it's funny because I'll tell you what, my former wife and my sister, well, they were baptized in 1967, 1966. They had a convention, actual assembly, I should say, at the Wilmington, Massachusetts High School. And, there's no facility to give a baptismal situation. So they all put them on a bus and took them to the YMCA.
I was, Norman, I was baptized. This is Susan. I was baptized in a YMCA in 1975.
Yeah. So even though they condemn. Yeah.
Yes, I know. I know.
You mean the year of Armageddon?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know. I'm so smart, aren't I?
Yeah. Well, that's fascinating, Norman. That's really, really fascinating that you're showing these pictures, because I mean, look at the proof is in the pudding. And I get on some of these forums in line. Oh no, the Watchtower isn't tanking. You apostates are making this all up. There it is. Look yourself. You can see it.
Yep. And really, if you're going to get baptized, do you want to go to the YMCA, or you want to be in front of hundreds or thousands of people at a convention? Right? You want all the attention possible, and they've proven that they can set up a pool at the Stronger Center.
Well,
it's not like they're setting up. It's not like they're setting up on a hardwood floor, let's say at a gymnasium, where if they got water on the floor, they could ruin the wood. This is a place where they have hockey games and things like that. That's right on cement.
Yeah.
A little water's not going to hurt that cement.
No. Well, that is really something else. That's amazing. So I think see people think in pitches, they remember in pitches, and they move to action in pitches. And they might not remember our program tonight, but they're going to remember these pitches, Norman.
I sure hope so. I sure hope so.
Well, thank you.
And I have to say, Susan, it's a delight to have you on the with Rick, and also when I see you, on Facebook and everything, it's a delight to have you. And you add so much to the program, and I think that you're wonderful. And I'm so happy that you're doing the the call-in for witnesses who need help. You say, you said you're a professional Jehovah's Witness. Well, you're a professional X, and you have so much to give. And I say that what you do is amazing, and you're an amazing woman. And thank you for being with Rick, and thank you for being with us. We really love you.
Well, thank you, Norman. You're so kind. Yeah, you're thinking more of me than you should. But one thing I really do know is that Rick needs help. He's a good man. He's the real deal, and I'll do whatever it takes to help him out.
And you've been there every step of the way. You're amazing, and we love you very much.
Well, thank you, Norman.
All right, Norman. Now you go take care of Sharon and tell Sharon
Yes,
thank
say
you.
hello to Sharon.
Yes.
I certainly will. Maverick, take it away.
Yeah, Maverick. Well, anyways, yeah, Maverick's good. Maverick's on the ball now. Now, Maverick knows that wasn't an AI conversation. That was the real deal with Norman. JP, you on there with us?
Yes, Rick, I'm here. Can you
Thank you for holding on there with us, JP. So I want you to tell us, give us your story, JP.
Well, just to clarify today, Rick, I did not go to the Long Beach convention. I will be going there in a couple weeks to send you some pictures.
Yes.
The information that I'm going to give to you tonight and the listeners of Six Screens are just what I've gotten from an insider and some of my own investigation on jw.org on their convention finder. And I'm going to be talking about both the Bakersfield Convention Center and the Long Beach Convention Center. I'm going to be giving you some of my own personal statistics. They may not be perfect, but they're going to give you an idea of what's happening and what's going on.
Excellent. Excellent. Go ahead. We'd love to hear it.
Okay, well, to get started, we'll start with Bakersfield. And in Bakersfield, they just had a convention last weekend. And this is how this information got started that I came into is they had a convention last weekend and there was over 6,000 people there. And that's pretty much the capacity of the convention center that witnesses have always had for the past, let's say before COVID in 2019. In Bakersfield, they would have 5 English conventions and they would average 5,000 to 6,000 people in 2019. Last year, they had 5 to 6 conventions and 1 Spanish one, and they averaged from 900 to 1,200. This year, they didn't have 5 English conventions. They had only 1, and only a little over 6,000 people showed up. And they pretty much, it's been going around, and it was kind of leaked from people that know people that are in charge of the convention that next year they're not going to even have it there, and that district is pretty much going to get dissolved.
Wow.
And whatever remaining witnesses are in that district, they're going to just have to merge with another district. So, we've heard, Rick, of congregations getting dissolved and being merged with other congregations, but I have never heard of a whole district being dissolved. And from what my statistics can say from, let's go back to 2019, over those 5 to 6 conventions in Bakersfield, over those 5 to 6 conventions, there would be between 40 and 50,000 witnesses that would attend. This year, they consolidated it all to one, and there was only 6,000 people. So the question begs is, what happened to 35 to 38,000 people in the last 5 to 6 years? That's what I have to give you from Bakersfield.
Wow. Well, that's phenomenal, JP. Those statistics are really telling. Thank you for doing the math on that, because that really drives the point home. Unbelievable.
JP, could it be because people have moved? Does that fit in, do you think?
No, because Susan, if other people would move, the convention attendance would show that. I believe these people are just gone. And the same thing too is happening with Long Beach. If you want me to get into the statistics of Long Beach,
Yes.
They would normally, in Long Beach, it's a bigger venue. There's always more people there. But for the last 15 to 20 years, the convention center season would always begin at the Long Beach Convention Center, and it would start on the last weekend of June, and it would go to the first weekend of September. So let's say 10 weeks. And over those 10 weeks, there might be one weekend where the convention center was a different thing besides Jehovah's Witnesses. So in Long Beach, let's say last year, they had, let me look at my statistic. Yeah, they would have 7 English ones and 2 Spanish.
The conference has been unlocked.
Till last year. This year, they only had 4 English and 1 Spanish. So, and I heard from somebody that they did the same thing too, that they merged 2 districts. If there was 2 district conventions on 2 weekends, they would merge them into one. So it went from 7 conventions last year to 4 now, 2 Spanish to 1. And even the attendance is pretty low, even as they're merging them. So I hear. And I think, Rick, that this is just them consolidating and merging these district conventions. I think it's just a temporary fix, because if it's the trajectory, if it still keeps going with the amount of people leaving, in the next year or 2, they're going to have to consolidate again and consolidate again. And then I think Long Beach is going to happen like Bakersfield. They're just going to dissolve it. There's no point in meeting at a convention center if you can't even get enough people to even fill, 1/3 of it.
Well, we just saw the we just saw the pictures from Massachusetts here, and boy, it looks pretty dismal. And this is also information people have been giving me. I want to thank all the people who've been sending me information about the conventions they're at. And boy, I'll tell you, nobody's saying that it's robust and there's no seats. That's how it used to be, PJ. You remember that years ago. Man, you had to really get to the convention early to even get a seat,
Well, Rick, when I went undercover for you 2 years ago to Long Beach, we used to average between 10 to 12,000 people. Usually Friday it would be about 10,000 people. And you know how the conventions go. Friday there's the least amount of people because they work, and then Saturday there's a little more, and then Sunday it's the peak. And it would be between 10 and 12,000 people. When I went undercover for you 2 years ago, the morning attendance was 4,001. I thought that number was funny because I said there's 4,000 witnesses here and 1 apostate. And that's me. But from going from what, a convention that would have been normally people in 2019, on that day, there'd be 11,000 people there. So they went from 11 to 4,000. So I can just see them consolidating it. And I think in the future, this is my own prediction, I believe eventually they're going to get rid of the district convention, just like they did with a midday week meeting, because the numbers are terrible. And obviously the governing body, they're not going to admit to the numbers being terrible and looking bad. They're probably going to come up with some sort of an excuse that the economy is bad and gas is very expensive. And since the governing body loves you, they're going to cancel the convention, but it's still going to be available on the website. Or if witnesses want to go down to their local Kingdom Hall and watch the convention together and pretend what it used to be like, then they can do that. And I think that's where this is heading, Rick. I don't really, with the amount of people, I would say Norman's correct. There's at least 40% less, maybe more. And quite possibly the convention that Norman was at this weekend was also a merged one. So it could very well be very much worse than even he knows or we know.
Well, what's fascinating, JP, what really fascinates me here is we know it's going to get worse for the Watchtower. Boy, with AI now and all the information that's coming out in newspapers and on television about the witnesses and the countries coming down on them. There's really nowhere they can go. They're cooked. Take them off the grill. They're done. They're finished. The monkey died, as we say. The circus is over. There's nowhere to go. It's all older ones now for the most part, as Norman was saying. And so there's not even, the Watchtower can't even say, well, we get a bunch of young ones that are going to grow up soon and be adults and be able to take the lead. They don't have that. So they know they're doomed, but they got to make it look good. And one of the things that always made it look good for the witnesses was the convention. But when you go to a convention and you at least have some history in the Watchtower and you see that, hey, look at, I've been doing this for 20 years. This is not the same anymore. Even someone coming in from the outside to see a lot of empty seats, they're probably saying, well, why would they rent such a big arena? Like even that Songus Center in Lowell that Norma was talking about. Geez, you walk in there off the street, you say, why do they need this? They should be meeting in a smaller building, save money. You know, people are going to start thinking this, JP.
Exactly, Rick. And it's happening, and it's everything that we've been waiting for, Rick, and wanting to happen is happening at very rapid pace. And there's no denying it by the numbers. Numbers, statistics don't lie. It's very obvious with the last broadcast and one of the last videos that they had on their jw.org, which I know you're going to talk about that in a little bit, where they are making people seem like something big going to happen, that we have to have so much faith and not really question these people. And if we do, it could be dangerous and they may make them do something dangerous. That is complete desperation, Rick. And I could see that they're going that direction. But like you were saying, with the internet, AI, people are easily could research and find out just how much of a sham and a lie all of this is. And the governing body knows that. And witnesses don't react the way they used to anymore 10, 20 years ago when threatening them with Armageddon and the Great Tribulation and any day. People aren't scared of that anymore. And it's not working. I think the only people that are really left are a lot of the people that were either raised in or people that have been there for 40, 50 years. And I think a lot of them are have some very serious questions, and they don't really understand or know what's happening. We do to an extent, but even like that guy Seth was saying, I'm very interested to hear some of the information that he found out.
Well, I'll tell you what,
there's a lot coming down.
There's a lot coming down. You're right.
One last thing I just wanted to say is, yeah, there's a lot coming down, and I am going to try. They have 2 more conventions in Long Beach, the end of July and one in August, which is unusual because there should be a convention this weekend, which there isn't. There should be one next weekend. There's not. And I'm going to go to one of these 2 conventions, even though I don't want to, but I want to get some information for you and Six Screens. But I also believe in my heart, Rick, that this may be the last convention. I wouldn't doubt, or it wouldn't surprise me if in the, the annual meeting in October or something that they just discontinued conventions globally. And so I'm going to go to this one because I think that their days are numbered of having conventions. They just can't get the people there, and it is just ridiculous.
Well, I love the way you sound, JP. I really do, because I'll tell you what, that they deserve this. This is an organization that deserves to be on the intensive care unit of a religion. They're not going to make it. They're not going to make it. There's no way that people want to be a Jehovah's Witness today. Now, the old timers, they're going to stay in.
It's possible, Rick. I give it like 5 to 10 year timeline to where they're completely online. Nobody's going to want to do this. I think their ministry is going to end. One very last thing I'm going to say too, I think with a ministry, I think they're going to discontinue the cart work, the little bit of door to door that they do. Because even when we were witnesses years ago, the door to door was actually very discouraging. We would never get anybody home. Most people, people didn't really care. The cart work is even worse. It's dejecting, and so they know that, the governing body. So I think they're going to discontinue that. And I think witnesses are going to be like your Baptist or somebody where they come around once a year around Easter time and they give you an invitation to their Easter Sunday service. And I think witnesses are just going to do that, go around once a year and give out, flyers for people to deny Christ with them. And I think that's what it's going to come down to.
Well, they're going to try every trick in the book. I mean, they're going to try to get every single witness that ever left. They're going to try to get them back. They'll try everything. Susan, what do you want to say?
I wanted to ask what you thought. If they're going to end this witnessing, they're so big into Acts, scriptures and Acts about going house to house and door to door. How are they going to work that into their formula?
Well, Susan, like they've done in the past, they could actually take that scripture into context and they can actually say that it was actually referring to the congregation of how Christians would meet for worship in houses to houses. They weren't literally going house to house, door to door, giving out scrolls and pamphlets and trying to convert people. They didn't have to, because the gospel of Jesus Christ was known to all the world at that time. And believe me, the Greeks, Romans, Jews, Arabs, everybody at that time, especially, in the first 50 years after Jesus Christ was raised, everybody was talking about it. And that was the biggest time, I think, of Christianity that the gospel was ever spread in all human history, was at that period of time. That's why.
Well, good thought on that, JP. Let's bring the Borgies on. I think Dick wants to say something. Joe or Constance, did you want to say something? I guess not. All right. So anyways.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, what they're going to do is now all the misfits in the world, the real misfits, they're the only ones that are going to gravitate towards that religion now. So it's going to become really weird.
Well,
like all the smart people are going to be stay away, and the misfits are all going to. You have all these people from all over the world that are just criminals, and all kind of people are just going to gravitate, and they'll welcome them right in. But I guess Jesus would have kind of welcomed him in too, but that would be their excuse probably. Like their excuse would be just to bring people in, any people.
Right.
And people are not getting healthier out there.
Oh, no. So in other words, you're right with that. In other words, they're not going to attract, smart people. Now, they did that in the past. They really did. But they're not going to do that now with all of the changes that they made. Because, if I was just getting into the Watchtower today and I would look them up and find out a little bit about them, I'd say, wow, what's with all these changes here lately? Why are they changing so rapidly? So they're only going to attract, and I like what you just said, caller, criminal people, criminal-minded people who would join an organization that's filled with pedophiles. Geez, you'd have to have a sick mind to do that. Thank you, brother. Dick, go ahead. Yeah, you're on.
Thank you. I agreed with the caller that was just talking on 6 Screen a few minutes ago. And, he was saying that the Watchtower is always crying wolf. Armageddon's coming, Armageddon's coming, Armageddon's coming. And they've been doing that for 60 years now. And now they've said it so much, I don't think anybody listens. So I don't think there's that sense of urgency. And I'd like to just give you a quick thought that I have. And a disclaimer here, I'm not a prophet. But I know last summer at their convention, they had a scene where they were taking the names off the Kingdom Halls. They were taking the Watchtower names off the Kingdom Hall and so forth. And they showed brothers getting their go bags and jumping in a car and driving into the sunset with a dove flying over the car. And now they're really pushing obey, 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 like your life depends upon it. My guess is they're going to have everybody sell their houses and send all their money, sell their cars, whatever, and send all the money to the Watchtower. And then they're going to tell everybody to go out into the desert somewhere, and Jehovah will take care of them. And they're all going to die of thirst or something. They'll get something crazy, really super crazy in mind, I'm sure of it, because they know their days are numbered. You know, people aren't falling for it anymore. Only the dumb, only the stupid are falling for it with all the information that's out on YouTube and internet and all the apostate sites that's out there. You know, I think the Watchtower knows the writing's on the wall. Thank you, Rick.
Well, Dick, you got me thinking there when you talked about, give us your money. Now that's not a far-fetched thought. That thought is very realistic, because I'll tell you what, even in the world of business, if you have a fledgling business, a business that's on the way out, well, what the CEOs, the bosses of the business, are going to do is they're going to try to get as much money out of it as they possibly can. They have nothing to lose. Their business is tanking. It's the same thing with the Watchtower. They really, at this point, have nothing to lose. It's like a Hail Mary in a football game. In other words, let's go for the gusto. Let's try to get all we can before this thing goes under. And you might be right with that. Now, as far as sending people into the desert, we'll have to see. I wouldn't discount that totally either, but we'll have to see. But I'm going to be bringing up here very shortly the July broadcast on JW Broadcasting. And it's all about obey, obey, obey. I got some clips, and some of the things you're talking about here, Dick, might come to fruition. Thank you.
If they go out, if they do this desert thing, I wonder if they're going to be building a compound out there for all of them to stay into.
Yeah, well, that's interesting you say that. In fact, thank you, Donald, for reminding me, because I got some information from a person today, and they were out in Texas where the Branch Davidians were. And so they were out there, and they wanted to see where the Branch Davidians compound was and how it blew up and started on fire. So when they went out there, it's like a tourist trap almost. I didn't realize it, but people can go out there where the Branch Davidians were, and they can actually see where the fire happened. So anyways, this man was telling me that he was standing next to a woman, and he was saying, what a shame that these people all had to die in this cult. And then the woman next to him, she made a comment, well, that's what blind faith does. It kills people. And that's what people are in the Watchtower. It's blind faith.
Oh, yeah.
It's blind faith. They don't have any idea, what the governing body is. They're blind to all of this stuff that's creating so many issues. It just goes right over their head. And that's how these cults end up in a bad situation. And they might land up on the desert somewhere.
It's like I heard today on a video on YouTube that the video was about the Watchtower. The Watchtower is the religion itself. In other words, they worship that religion. It's the worship of the governing body, and the governing body claims that if you follow them and obey them, that you're obeying God. But it says nothing in the Bible anywhere about following these men at the top of an organization.
Are you right, Donald? Hey, let's bring Jeffrey on. Jeffrey, come on.
Yeah, I was going to say, with these confessions.
Are we losing Jeff? We got a bad connection there, Jeffrey. Get near a window or something. See if you can get some more bars on that phone. Well, we're going to have to let Jeffrey go, I guess. Jeffrey, I think if you can hear me, but call back in later. His phone is kind of acting up. All right.
Hello.
Can you hear? We can hear you now, Jeff. Go ahead. Well, I guess not. Jeff, your phone is not working right, so you can call back in later. All right. So, anyways, I like. I want to thank PJ for coming on. Thank you, PJ, for coming on and talking to us about.
You're welcome, Rick. I was going to let you know that I am going to go undercover in Long Beach probably in like the next 2 weeks or so. I'll let you know because I really want to get to the bottom of stuff myself.
Oh yeah, now bring your phone, take a lot of pictures and let us know what's going on, PJ.
Yeah, I'll give you the full report and plenty of pictures, and then we could talk about it and get to the bottom of what's going on.
Good, thank you.
Thank you, Rick, for
Thanks
giving me
for
the
all
time
your
to share
hard
that.
work.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of hard work is right.
It is hard work.
Yeah,
We appreciate it, truly.
Yeah, thank you, Susan. Yeah, well, that's right. All right, so anyways, does anyone, before we move to the next story, I want to talk about the JW broadcasting for July. It made me sick, really, it did. Did you want to say something, Dick? Anyone say something before we leave? I'm looking at people here unmuted, okay. Okay.
No.
I'm gonna mute Dick there. Yeah, okay, good. All right. So, anyways, let's go over here. Let's talk about this. The July broadcast, the JW broadcast. Did you see it? I'll tell you what, it really this one. I watch JW broadcasting all the time because I got to do these programs. But this one just was over the top. This one really, I tell you what, I had to stop playing it and listen to it and say, did they really say this? Well, I'm going to play some clips here tonight, and I want you to be able to tell me what you think. But just to give you a little rundown here, some might say they listen to the broadcast and say, well, there's nothing new here, Rick. They've been saying this right along. You know, obey, obey, obey. Well, I saw something in this broadcast that really is getting the message across from the governing body. Obedience is the message in this particular broadcast. There's no question about it. And this time it really is different. It's really different, friends. We know the Watchtower has been saying this right along, but it's really different. They are, I'll tell you what, they are, this is one of the worst broadcasts I've seen for how they're dealing with people, but they do it in such a subtle way. You know, it's one thing to come out and say, you have to obey us, like Hitler used to stand up there. Hail Hitler, Heil Hitler. But, the Watchtower does it very deceptively, but they get their message across. Well, let's take a look at a clip here. And then I want you guys just to tell me what you think. Let me share this. Give me a second here. And we're going to share what I've got here in my scene from JW Broadcasting. Okay, here we go. Let's share this now. Let's bring this up. Let me make this big here. Okay. Well, he's a member. He's not on the governing body, but he's an official of the Watchtower. So anyways, let's see what he has to say. Now listen in and just listen intently here because see if you see the message I'm hearing. All right, let's play it. Hold on 1 second. Let's go back just a little bit here. Play it. Hold on, folks. Why would not? Hold on 1 second here, folks. Why this is not playing?
By means of his son, Jesus Christ. So what's the answer to our first question? How do we identify the way to go?
Hold on 1 second. Let me just roll it back here to where we should be. Let me see my numbers here. Get a timestamp on this one. We got to go back to 8:44. Let's go back to 8:44 here. Just give us a second. All right, start about there. Just let's listen in, see what you think.
Direction, when we agree with the direction given. However, it's more difficult when we're asked to do something that doesn't quite fit with what we think should be done. What do we do then? The Apostle Paul provides us with a good example of how to react. Acts chapter 21, records when Paul came to Jerusalem and updated James and the elders regarding his missionary travels. And they were overjoyed to hear his experiences. But there was also a problem. Note what they said regarding some of the Jewish Christians as recorded at Acts chapter 21 and verse 21. But they have heard it rumored about you, that you have been teaching all the Jews among the nations in apostasy from Moses, telling them not to circumcise their children or to follow the customary practices. Now, there's no record of Paul doing this, but there were rumors. So what was their direction? Look at Acts chapter 21, verse 24. It says, take these men with you and cleanse yourselves ceremonially together with them, and take care of their expenses, so that they may have their heads shaved. Then everyone will know that there is nothing to the rumors they were told about you, but that you are walking orderly, and you are also keeping the law. What did Paul do? He didn't argue or resist. In verse 26, it says that Paul took the men the next day and cleansed himself ceremonially along with them. So to settle a rumor that was not true, Paul used his own funds and did what he knew was no longer required. Why? Because he was loyal to those Jehovah appointed to take the lead.
I just, okay, so we get that part. That's just a little forerunner here of what I want you to hear next. So they got the Apostle Paul here saying that he was loyal. Now, of course, everyone who was Jehovah's Witness, they want to be loyal, right, to the organization and to Jehovah, but mostly to the organization, I think. Now here comes the part. I want you to listen intently here. This brother here, who is an official of the Watchtower, he's going to be talking about receiving direction from the organization. Listen in.
Now, what's the lesson? When we receive direction, even if it seems unnecessary or we have a different opinion, do we trust Jehovah enough to follow it? If you receive clear direction, follow it if there's no scriptural law being disregarded. You never know if Jehovah's maneuvering matters for a reason. And even if not, he'll reward you for your loyalty. At times, this direction can mean our lives. We may think of the drama, Commit Your Way to Jehovah. This portrayed the real situation of our brothers fleeing for their lives in Africa. That's happening even to some of our brothers and sisters today in different parts of the world. And our heart goes out to these dear ones. That drama prompted all of us to consider how we would respond. If we were told to do something we may feel is a bit extreme or not needed, why not look at that drama again as part of your family worship and then consider how you would have reacted? Why is this important? Well, think about this. Will we also receive clear direction on what to do and what not to do during the Great Tribulation? What form will that direction take? Will it make sense to us? If we have complete confidence in Jehovah and his Son, we'll be ready to follow the direction of those taking the lead. So we've considered how we identify the way to go.
Stop right there. So, I mean, what are you getting from that? You know, you want to follow, you want to be obedient, you want to be loyal to those taking the lead. You know,
I think, Rick, what I'm getting from it is it sounds like they're coming up with yet another 1975 kind of deal. I've been hearing, I have heard something a few months ago, something about 2033. Now, I don't know what that is, but I think Watchtower is trying to get more membership. I think this is another way to say the world's coming to an end. But they're doing it differently. They're rewording it, but it's still got that endish kind of thing to it that they're saying in there. Obey because your life may depend on it and all that stuff. And I think they're leading towards yet another prediction that's going to fall by the wayside. It's going to fail once again.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, somebody's got it. Yeah, okay. Well, thank you, Donald. Okay, you have the TV on the background. It makes it a little hard to hear when you do that. Always make
Hey,
sure-
Rick.
Yes, go ahead, Jesse.
Hey, I have a theory, and the way the previous caller, I agree with him a lot about them preaching the end. But I want to remember, I want to ask you guys, but I remember about 50 years ago, maybe going on 60, my older brothers, the older brothers that were ministerial servants when we were little kids. So try to think 50, 60, 70 years ago. Do you remember, or was it just out here in the West? They were always talking when we were at dinners or studies or at conventions. I never heard it on the Watchtower, but they would say, these older guys would say, when the preaching work ends, we're going to go door to door and we're going to tell everybody it's too late to enter Jehovah's organization, society. Do you remember anything like that when you were a kid, back in the 70s or 60s or 50s?
Yes, I do. You're bringing back memories here, Jesse.
Yeah.
I do remember that. Yeah. In fact, they were almost, really being proud of the fact that, we know the answer and you can't have it now. It's over.
Yes. I think that's what this is reminding me of. They might have a campaign to say, you know what, the preaching work is done. You didn't participate. And that's why they're saying, even if you don't agree with it, so whatever it is, I could be wrong, totally way off. And anybody's guess is as good as everybody else's, but it's going to be something ridiculous. They're plotting something ridiculous.
Well, Jesse, it's so funny you say that because just today and yesterday, I got some information from some people that emailed me, and they were saying exactly the same thing about Rick. I think they're going to announce the preaching work has ended. I got two people told me that. So I mean, I can't take it. I can't take it to the bank and cash it. But I mean, I got that message. Yes, in fact, this week that the preaching work is going to be announced. Now, is it going to be at the annual meeting? Is it going to be at a convention? Maybe at the end of one of these conventions this summer? But I have heard that. That's not far-fetched, yes.
Yeah, or a hybrid form of that question. The preaching work is going to be done because we're at the late stages of the last day, whatever. But I think something like that. And that's why they're setting it up. They're prefacing it with, even if you disagree. So it is something ridiculous is going to happen. Mm-hmm. I'm no Jeremiah, so I'm no prophet, so I don't know.
Well, you can be a futurist. We all can be. We can all be futurists. In other words, it's different than a prophet. In other words, what a futurist does is he looks at what's going on today, and he just says, "Okay," scratches his head. Boy, if it goes this way, this is what's going to happen, and it seems to be going that way, Jess.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to leave and make room for somebody else, but I just want to share what Susan said. I agree, Susan. I want to say dittos when she thanked JP for her hard work. I want to say dittos.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you.
This is Donald again. What I was saying earlier, since you couldn't hear me, I turned down the volume on the TV. I think it's going to be another 1975 kind of thing because that's what it sounds like to me. Now, I was a young kid in '75, but I do remember hearing on the news, on the evening news, Walter Cronkite, I think it was, or whoever it was, talking about witnesses selling their homes and doing all this stuff. And I'm thinking this is just another thing that they're coming up with to say the world is coming to an end, like they've been saying for years and years and years. And I think also this just to get new members into the group. I think when they threaten people that the end is coming, I think their idea with that is, well, this will get more people into our organization and we'll get more money and we'll get more, whatever to follow us. But this obey thing really sounds like another 1975 kind of deal.
Well, Donald, it's interesting. I always appreciate you commenting too. Now I'm trying to break this down. I'm trying to pick up crumbs on the trail here, so to speak, and understand what's being said. So the first part of this JW broadcasting, at least up till now, I couldn't play it all for you, but what I gathered from this is be loyal, like the Apostle Paul, and to obey any direction that's coming from the faithful slave, is what they're saying. Obey what's coming from the leaders. So we got this. Now, what you have to do, see, it's like a selling pitch, so to speak. Now they have to add some sense of urgency to all of this. So the witnesses are hearing that, okay, fine, we got to obey. Now I'm going to bring you up here. Let me just get to the timestamp here, 26:33. Let me bring this up here 1 second, and I can do that. I want you to see this, 26:33, and I'm going to show you how they're really creating a sense of urgency that it's going to be dangerous times are coming for Jehovah's Witnesses. 26:33. All right, almost there. Give me a second. 22, 24, 25, 26:33. Right about, let's start here. So just listen to this now, and you tell me if this isn't trying to scare the witnesses to death.
And even if someone says something bluntly, like Habakkuk did, I can still validate their feelings and focus on the motive behind those words.
Yeah, good point. The fact that Jehovah is so trustworthy means a lot to me too. I trust.
Hold on. Do you see this picture? I'm stopping it right there. Now, this is fear mongering at its best. This is what I would say the Watchtower here is creating a sense of urgency. They're telling people to obey, be loyal. Now they have a sister come on, and she's more or less saying to obey the direction from the Watchtower. And now notice what's happening here. We have a Jehovah's Witness man, and he's leaving wherever, and his armed guards, these are what we call the stormtroopers. These are armed guards. Supposedly, they're just around him, and, there's tribulation, there's problems in the world, and it seems as though this man has got to kind of be involved in whatever's happening here. It doesn't say. It's just a quick little blip. It's almost like a subliminal message, but nonetheless, it's a scary picture, right? You got this witness guy walking among these armed guards. But listen in now. I'm going to also stop at another. These are fear mongering tactics. They're telling you to obey. And here they have this witness walking among the stormtroopers. Now listen in.
That what Jehovah says about our future will.
Now, this is darkened for a reason. See this picture here? Does that picture look familiar to you? That is Jehovah's Witnesses in a bunker. Remember that?
Yes.
This is Jehovah's Witnesses in a bunker.
In that movie.
They're frightening people to death. Evidently, the stormtroopers around looking for them, or whoever is going to come get them. They're all hiding in a bunker somewhere. So, that's a scare tactic too. Now let's go on a little more here.
Will come true. The righteous are going to live. It's a central.
Now, notice this picture. This picture to me is very disturbing. Very, very disturbing. Now, Dick Borg, he's listening in, I'm sure. And he was talking just a little while ago that, give us your money and I'll walk into the desert. Well, it's not a desert they're walking into, but we see all of these witnesses, they're now going somewhere. Interesting that they don't have their go bags with them, but they're all walking towards something. Now look in the back. You got to see. Now listen, pictures speak volumes here. What do you see in the back area there? Fire. Reminds me of Sodom and Gomorrah. Look at right in the back right here, Susan. See back? See if I can put the cursor right back here. See back here.
That's fire?
These are buildings.
Like clouds.
Well, no, these are buildings right here. That's fire. So something, this is Armageddon or the Great Tribulation or the stormtroopers coming in on the witness world, whatever it is, it's a frightening picture. So they got these, can you see it? Am I exaggerating here? I don't think so. So we have all these people that are going somewhere. Well, let's move on.
Bible truth, after all. So no matter.
There you can see the city back here burning. Is that Armageddon? What is that? You know, see the building? That's a building. That's fire. See this? Right in there, Susan. Yeah.
No matter the circumstances,
Oh, boy.
I can be joyful like Habakkuk, come what may.
I'm meditating on Jehovah's past acts.
So, you know, this is, like I say, you got to create a sense of urgency. You want people to obey you, but you can't suggest to them, well, Armageddon. Well, they did just do that last April, right? In the Watchtower, they said that, you know, Armageddon may not come in your lifetime. Now they come out with this a few months later, and they're more or less showing it's going to happen tomorrow. So let's see what else it says here.
Actions like Habakkuk did in chapter 3. It reassures me that when things get worse, I can patiently trust Jehovah and obey his direction. It doesn't matter when the end comes. It matters that we live a life of faith.
I love this.
All right. Again, you know, follow Jehovah's direction, be loyal. So I wanted to bring that up tonight. I found it quite interesting. I mean, I really, as I went through this and studied it somewhat, some of it doesn't make sense to me. They're kind of making a collage. They're mixing some of their old videos of the past.
Hi, Rick.
Yeah.
Hello, Rick.
Yes, who's this?
This is Joe. How are you, Rick?
I'm good, Joe. What do you think, Joe?
Well, I saw the talk that the governing body gave, whoever that was, and I did not see the video though. This is the first time I saw the video, but the sense that I get from the talk and then the video is that the governing body has absolutely no confidence that the members will follow them. I think they know they're not so keen on listening. Why would they try so hard to have to convince someone who's interested in following them? And I think they know that the people don't trust them anymore.
Well, that's
the impression that I got.
Well, that I can see where you could get that impression. Thank you
They're
for
trying too hard.
Yeah, no, in
They're
fact,
trying way too hard.
yeah, you're absolutely right. That I didn't look at it in that way, but I can see what you're saying is it's certainly sensible. Why are they?
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's a 56-minute long video, just about an hour.
Yeah.
And that whole video, it starts out with obey, 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 be loyal, be loyal. And then it switches to, follow the leaders, follow the direction of the ones that Jehovah's put in place. And then they're showing, now they're scaring you, they're showing people leaving a burning city, whatever that is. They're showing people in a bunker. They're showing a Jehovah's Witness walking with stormtroopers in the city, in the street. So these are all scare tactics, Joe,
Well, yeah. And I think they're trying very hard to manufacture something that just does not exist in the minds of the people. It just doesn't.
So how long do you give them, Joe?
I-
How long do you give the witnesses to be around?
Oh, I don't know. They're changing. They are changing. They've got so much money behind them, and I'm sure they've already planned on using their money differently. I tell you, my biggest concern is what the people who are left in, that they know what to do, and that they don't just get stuck and not leave in a timely fashion. What are they going to do? How are they going to gracefully leave?
Well,
I mean, hey, Rick.
Hold on, let Joe finish. Go ahead, Joe, finish up, and then we'll listen to this
Yeah,
other film.
that's just that point there. It looks like a whole breakdown in relationship.
I'm with you. No, good,
the
good,
people-
good observation.
The people they're acting like they're relating to someone who doesn't trust them, and they're trying very hard to get them to trust them. And it's like it's almost comical. It's almost comical, but it's not comical because there's people that stuck and see. They know that your program and all the many hundreds of thousands of YouTube ex-witnesses are having a powerful effect. They know that.
Oh yeah,
I mean, they're monitoring it all over the place, so they know that they're listening. The witnesses in the organization are probably listening more to YouTube and to you, and the X's, than they are to the governing body. I truly think they know that. I really do.
Well, you just said something that got me thinking, Joe. You really did. I liked your little analogy, your little illustration you used. If you really, well, in other words, you were saying that they're really trying so hard because they know people have lost faith. It'd be like if a man went out and cheated on his wife. Oh, honey, please bring me back. I'm never going to do that again. Please, please, please. I really love you, honey. I mean, this is almost the same feeling I'm getting with the governing body. They've let people down, and now they're asking for, stay with us, please. Don't go anywhere. Please, you got to obey us. You got to follow our direction.
I think you can almost characterize it as the thrill is gone. I think the governing body knows that this thrill that the members may have about being part of this wonderful organization, I think they know that the thrill is gone and the relationship is gone. So that's why so many people are leaving.
Yeah.
They're leaving. Look,
very good
they
comments.
just don't. So many more would leave, but they just don't want to lose relationships.
Very good
And
comments.
they know that.
Yeah.
Hey, Rick, can I cut in here?
Yeah,
Thanks. I just wanted
come on in.
thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Say hello to Fran. Okay, we got 248. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything that's been said, but I think you got to realize how attached some of these diehards are. It almost seems like they're they're like the kamikaze, Japanese pilots that crashed in the deserted island. They still think World War II is going on 30 years later,
Well, I like that illustration too. Right. That's exactly right. They're not in tune. They are not in tune with what's going on. They don't want to admit the fact that they're losing the game. They are losing the game. Yes.
And from being awakened, like we can see like a separation between the organization and our faith, but they can't. They associate their belief in God with their standing in the religion.
Well, in fact, we could bring some other little analogies or little axioms or whatever you want to call them into the equation here. Now, if you have a product that has been selling really good for many years, and the Watchtower they were selling their product and people were buying it, but all of a sudden, people aren't buying that product anymore. So you say, well, why aren't they buying that product anymore? Because it doesn't taste good anymore. The product's no good anymore. And that's exactly where the Watchtower is. And that's a difficult thing to bring something back once it's been tarnished, once it's been bad. Chipotle, we all know Chipotle, right? Well, I'd say about 5 years ago, they had some, I think it was guacamole sauce. And what happened, bad avocados or something, lettuce or something along that line in their burritos was causing people to get sick. I believe even some people died. I believe there were. So, man, their company went right down the tubes. The stock in their company tanked. People weren't going to Chipotle. I mean, they really had to really work hard to get back to where they wanted to be. And they did everything they can. That's exactly what the Watchtower is doing now. But I believe they'll never make it back. They're going to try every trick in the book, but they're not going to make it back. All right.
I know you talked about like the attendance figures of the conventions.
Yes.
And like everything, you know, post COVID, everything is like red hot. Like it's a lot easier, or you know, like concerts are in higher demand. You know, live events, like more people want to go to them, but it's the exact opposite for the witnesses.
Well, you know something. I don't know about, I'm not into soccer, but you couldn't help but see some of the stuff going on in the news. And these stadiums were filled. And these people really kind of remind me of the witnesses years ago. I mean, they weren't quite as energetic as the soccer fans, but I'll tell you what, they could certainly fill a stadium, but those days are gone. And you're right with that. Right now, it's ripe for people to come together and do things. But the Watchtowers, we had one earlier. I don't know if you've seen it, but we had some pictures from a convention up here in Massachusetts. It was disgraceful. The empty seats, the difference. We showed pictures from 2019 and pictures to today in 2026. There was a stark difference. In fact, the people who took the pictures were saying about 40% less is what they figured were there this year than back then. So, I mean, really, it's a stark difference. Things are really happening, and we're seeing it all happen. Dick, come on. Do you want to come on?
Yeah. I actually, there was a joke that I heard at the flea market where the guy said, everything but Mantovani records have value. And I think you're seeing that right now.
Well, we're seeing we're seeing an organization in decline, and I'm sure Dick and Constance out there and Joe agree with me, right, Dick?
Absolutely. And I just had a quick thought. I firmly believe that every member of the governing body has their own go bag ready to go. And it's full of money, probably $1 million a piece. They have an escape plan. They have false ID. They know where they're going because very, very shortly the governments are going to come down on them, and former Jehovah's Witnesses are going to be just coming out of that organization, and they're going to be looking back at these governing body members. They told them Armageddon is going to be coming. They sold their homes and didn't get their education and put off having kids. There are going to be a lot of angry people going after those governing body members, and I'm sure they have a safe home somewhere in Argentina or Brazil or someplace where they can't be tracked down. Because I think very shortly, with all the evidence that they are lying hypocrites and they only care about one thing, money and your free labor. And when that gets known by everybody, those governing body members better watch out. Thank you, Rick.
And I know, Dick, you haven't been watching YouTube videos getting this idea, but I mean, the more we watch, the more we totally believe it. And friends, listen, we're all in the same boat. We got a lot of people listening in here tonight, but let me just share this thought with you. What Dick was just saying, you know, it's within the realm of possibility. These guys are criminals, and you know they got away with it. And at one time, you could get away with stuff. You know, look at all the murders in the past because they had no DNA evidence. Today, they're finding murders left and right. They're really taking these people in and putting them in prison and executing them. And the same thing with pedophiles. You know, the same thing with all types of crime. So the crime is now caught up with the Watchtower. You can't get away destroying families like they have, making people commit suicide because of putting so much anguish on them. You can't have people die from refusing blood transfusions. You just can't have all of this. And the world is now catching up on this screwy religion. You can't do it. Now, years ago, maybe you could, but you can't anymore. And the Watchtower knows they're on a dead end road. Too much. All right. So anyways, What a fast I'm telling you. In fact, oh boy, I'll tell you, I get really riled up. I've been doing this for a long time, and there's something that really stands out in my mind. When we started doing this program 20 years ago, our mission was counting down the last days of the Watchtower. Now, 20 years ago, that was a hard thing to do. But right now, in 2026, it's easy. Look at all the people coming onto this program tonight, and we're all in unison. We all are connecting with each other. We're all standing up and cheering, really, and not that we want to see anybody hurt or anybody really put in a wicked situation. But what's coming upon the Watchtower, they deserve what's coming to them. Now, I'm not talking about the average Jehovah's Witness. They're not understanding it totally. But the governing body gets it. These guys are conniving fraudsters. They deliberately are doing things, and they know it, that have hurt people. And that's why we're glad to see justice finally coming. Now, next week, what we'll do is we got Seth coming in from Missouri. He spoke with a bunch of government officials this week. You heard him. If you were listening into 6 Screens an hour and a half ago, you would have heard Seth come in and talk about what the government's getting ready to do. Now, we didn't want to share too much of it here tonight. The Watchtower evidently heard that he was going to spill the beans. And so what they did is the operatives of the Watchtower came in earlier. I want to apologize for that. These guys are vulgar. They do everything they can to try to disrupt, not just the 6 Screens, but they try to disrupt many of the forums online. They try to disrupt any other. Well, there's not many live programs like we do, so I don't know what they can do on YouTube because it's filmed, but it's videotaped. But in this particular case, it's an open forum. I mean, this is like, we're like a ship out in the middle of the Hormuz Straits. I mean, really, we start going forward, we might get tanked there shortly. But this is what's going on. And so we get these guys coming in. I want to apologize for their bad behavior, the vulgar. These people should know better. They should have their mouth washed out with soap, to be quite frank. But anyways, I want to show you the picture of the week. Oh, I got the picture of the week. I want you to see the picture of the week. And I'm going to start giving you a picture of the week all the time here on the 6 Screens. Let me get that picture up. And I want you to tell me what you think it is. All right. There it is right there. All right. So that picture. Well, this picture right here. Now, that is in a Kingdom Hall, but there are mattresses on the floor. Now, I was never in a Kingdom Hall where I saw mattresses on the floor. So would anyone like to take a guess what's going on here? Would anyone like to take a guess?
They're sleeping.
Yeah, Rick, I'll take a guess.
Go ahead.
If you don't mind.
Yeah.
I think they're setting it up for a bunch of pedophiles starting messing around with the kids, and they want them to be comfortable.
Well, that's a wild guess, Dick. It's not that though. But is there anybody out there that looks like nice pink sheets? Looks pretty comfortable to me. It's just a mattress on the floor in a Kingdom.
I've got an idea, Rick.
Go ahead, Maverick.
I've got an idea, Rick.
Yeah, go ahead.
The meetings they recognize that the meetings are so boring now that they have to give them the mattress they can lie down and sleep.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yes, Maverick.
Yeah, that's a good idea too, Maverick. But somebody out there must know. I mean, it's nothing we used to see. I never saw mattresses in a Kingdom Hall before, but something's weird with this. And I wasn't sure when this person sent me the picture. Thank you for the picture, because I wasn't sure even what it was. But I was thinking the same thing. I mean,
When people put mattresses in your
go ahead.
when people put mattresses in your business, what are they doing?
Well, homeless.
Hey, can you hear me, Rick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, that's an earthquake relief station that they set up for the. There was an earthquake, some big earthquakes, and I believe that's what it is. And I got it actually into a nice little debate. It wasn't mean or anything. It was somebody who posted this picture about if it was for the whole community or just their congregation? And they said, well, obviously it's just congregation. They can't just let everyone in. So we got into a little debate on how if that's Christian or not. So anyway, that was a fun little debate. But I believe that's an earthquake relief station.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Seth. Because I talked to the person that sent this to me, and that's what it was. It's a Kingdom Hall in Venezuela. Now we know just in the last couple of weeks there was a wicked earthquake over there. A lot of people died, sad to say, but the Jehovah's Witnesses set some mattresses up, and that's exactly what I was thinking too, Seth. Is that would they let just the average Joe that lost his house and didn't have anywhere to sleep? Would they let Joe Smo, the person that never became a witness, sleep there? Absolutely not. So that was for the witnesses. But that's good.
Yeah, it was either that or as one of the comments brought out, Pillowgate 2.0.
You got it, yeah. Well, that's our picture of the week, and I'm going to do that at the end of every program now, trying to come up with a picture of the week. Well, I'll tell you, I had fun tonight. Susan and I had fun, and we certainly had a lot of people coming in. I want to thank everyone for coming in. My goodness, I couldn't believe it for a warm summer night all over the country. People I thought would be out busy tonight, picnicking or going to the beach or whatever. But I want to thank you all for wanting to share some time here with the Six Screens Telenetwork. Now, we do have programming tomorrow on Sunday. Now, on Saturday night, we don't get into the scriptures. You guys know that. We have the no preach zone. We don't preach on Saturday night. But now, if you're a Jehovah's Witness or have been one, obviously, you talk scripture. You talked about what the Watchtower prophecies were, what their doctrine was, and maybe you say, well, wait a minute, were they teaching me the truth? Well, I'm going to tell you something. There's very few people. Do you know what the percentage rate of people who get out of the Watchtower leave for theological reasons? Only 20% of people who leave the Watchtower leave for theological reasons. In other words, they disagree with what the Watchtower says about the Bible. They don't believe it. So it's a small percentage. And so we don't really get into it on Saturday night because I'll tell you, the Watchtowers hurt so many people. They spiritually abuse so many people that they don't want anything to do with God. And that is sad. And the Watchtower is going to have to answer for that. But if you're, in view of, or at least looking at the possibilities of reconnecting with God, now not the Watchtower, but with the real God of the Bible, and you'd like to hear some scholars and some apologists of the Christian world, we'll have them on tomorrow on the Six Screens Telenetwork, our Sunday programming. We talk about theology. We talk about the Bible. And if you have any questions at all, you can be free to ask them. Now, beginning at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, we have a program called Leaving the Watchtower and Knowing God. So many people leave the Watchtower and they want to know God, like myself and many others listening in tonight. So if you want to come in tomorrow, beginning at 1 o'clock, and then 2 o'clock, we switch gears a little bit. We go to Amory once again, and we have a program called Ex-Jehovah's Witnesses Share Their Story of Being in the Watchtower. And that's a program where people can come on and tell us their story or their trek in the Watchtower. They share it with us. And then at 3 o'clock, we do JW World News Sunday edition. Now at 4 o'clock, I can't believe it. We have a program that's gaining a lot of momentum. It's called The Christian Court. Now, in the world of Christianity, peculiar questions can be answered, and sometimes they can have different answers. Now, the court, we have two scholars that come on, and they go through these questions. So why don't you join us tomorrow on the Christian Court at 4 o'clock? Then if you have Bible questions, a good man, Jay Hess, he's a former, one time he was associated with the Watchtower Writing Department, and he has his own program on the Six Screens, Making Disciples with Jay Hess. If you have a Bible question, he is the man to ask. He'll be on tomorrow. Now, what I also want to say is after this program ends in just a couple of minutes, if you want to stay for the after party, You can do that. If you're on the telephone line, you can see that telephone number scrolling across the bottom of Facebook and YouTube. Use that number, call into the after party, and people can let their hair down in there. It's not being recorded. It's not on Facebook or YouTube. You guys can talk and discuss anything you want in the after party, but stay civil. Don't use vulgar language. That'd be good if you didn't do that. And also kind of work with one another as far as the phone is concerned. When you want to speak up, hit *6. When you don't speak up, hit *6. That mutes you. And then also I want to mention, if anyone out there is interested in having a program on our 6 Screens Telenetwork, we have a number of programs right now going. And if you have an idea for a program and like to have your own program on the 6 Screens, well, write me at jwworldnews@gmail.com, and we'll get you on the program, and you'll get to talk to people from all over the world that have been touched by the tentacles of the Watchtower. So, Susan, what do you have to say here?
Oh, that's about all I have left to say.
Yeah.
We've had a big night tonight, and I think this is some of the biggest information that we've received about the Watchtower since 1975.
Yeah, in fact, it's interesting, Susan. You mentioned that a lot of people tonight did mention 1975, and some of the stuff that's coming across is kind of making it the sense of urgency that they got to make things seem like something's happening. Now, they're not going to name a year, but they got to make it seem like something's
Well,
happening.
something is happening. They're falling apart. They know that the end of the organization is very close. And they're trying to act like, oh, it's no big deal. We're building, still building up in Wallkill, or what is it? Warwick. We're still building that. We've got this what is it? Not convention center, but the
Well, what they're doing is they're in Ramapo, they're building the media center.
right, but they're building the money center.
Right. Well, we haven't. We were going to get into that tonight, but we'll get in next week. But they bought a new building up there in Warwick, pretty close to the Watchtower headquarters.
Well, we talked about it
We
last week.
talked about it last week, but I did have it on the agenda tonight, but we're going to talk about it next week because I'm going to have a person come on. You want to say something? Go ahead. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to make a little prediction if I could.
Sure.
That media center that they're building in upstate New York, I'll bet you in 20 years, it's the film capital of the world for pornography.
Well, that's a possibility, Dick. That's you never know the way the world is going. Yeah, so we never know the way the world's going. Well, anyways, friends, we thank you all for coming into the 6 Screens tonight. Now, if you like the program, it's not monetized or anything at this point. So the only thing we have to gain, and the only thing you have to gain, is the fact that we're going to reach more people. And we can help people who are leaving the Watchtower to at least have people to talk to in real time. So if you like what we're doing here, go ahead and just subscribe to the channel. And that means that the algorithms at YouTube will put it out to more people, and Facebook as well. So go ahead and give that a shot. And the more people reach, the more people we can help. And that's what we all should be doing, folks. You know, we really should be, all of us, YouTube creators, those posting on Reddit, all of us should be trying to help people. Now, not to make this some money-making enterprise, but really our main motive should be, let's help people get out of the Watchtower. So anyways, I'm glad you're with us. Keep waving that flag of victory. And the last one, leaving the Watchtower, please turn off the new light. We'll see you tomorrow, beginning at 1 o'clock, right here on the 6 Screens Telenetwork. Good night, everyone.
Good night.